and your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why? $22 million in 3 fucking hours! There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not. Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. Why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's right.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
All right, good morning, guys. Welcome back. It's Tuesday, April 28th here on MCG. Some interesting things going down in the markets that we're going to cover today. Also, a great lineup. We're going to learn about peptides. I have no clue really what peptides are. Dom has a little bit of an idea and will be joining us shortly. And then we are going to have Fold on who can kind of fully explain that. But let's go over really quick. Pretty cool schedule today. And I'm just going to go through what we got going on today. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, we have at noon. So in 20 minutes, we got Fold coming on from Clarity Protocol. This is going to be deep science. As you guys know, I love deep science, deep tech. We got Liminal Cash at 12:30. That's a neobank play that has been executing well. One of the OG MetaDAO projects, Loyal, who's been building basically a private AI assistant or terminal for Telegram, allowing you to pay your contractors and trade and whatnot. And we're going to get a GSD cloud update today from Lex of GSD Foundation, one of the leading bags projects, I don't know if we consider Asteroid leading on bags, but a little bit of controversy over there. But we're going to find out all the details. Beforehand, I got some things to share that I want to put on everyone's radar. I have a good personal friend, and a very, very good trader. And this is a bit of a warning, maybe a bit of a warning call, but a little bit of context for you guys. So my friend here, Mike's Money, he's got some really, really amazing calls. One of them, he posted this in August 28th of 2023, where he basically called Solana here at $20. And this was, basically the only people that caught this trade were like Ansem and a handful of Solana people that held on. But the new entrants onto Solana in 2023 were far and few between. But these trades ended up being some of the biggest trades in recent crypto history. Wild that this was only 3 years ago, but Mike's Money smashed the Sol trade. And you can see when Mike trades, he's trading in size here. These are about $1 million, $2 million in positions right here. And this trade, the Sol long, he had $1.3 million, tiny leverage. He's using less than 1x leverage. And he had that, from $25 ended up going to hundreds. And he had the trades all the way up there. He's one of the top 10 most profitable traders all time on DYDX. So love Mike. And when he makes calls, I pay attention for sure. So this was his thread, and I want to put it out there for you guys. If you don't follow Mike's Money Invest, go ahead and do it. He runs a systematic trading firm and is really well respected and very humble as well. But he says the S&P 500 is at all-time highs. Meanwhile, 36 trillion in debt, an active war disrupting 20% of the global oil supply, and a Fed that can't move. I think everyone's been screaming for lower rates. I've been investing for years. I think this market is pricing in a best case scenario it hasn't earned yet. A thread on what I actually see. First, the S&P tripled since COVID. Every crash, 2022 rate hikes, the Iran shock was all bought back fast. That looks healthy, and it is. But every major top in history also looked like a healthy bull market right up until it didn't. The debt trap. U.S. debt is 36 trillion. Interest rate expenses now exceeding defense. We know the Fed can't cut, risking reigniting inflation. The Fed can't hold debt servicing compounds and crowds out everything else. There is no clean exit. Just inflate it away is what people have said for years. People keep saying this. The math doesn't work. Short duration debt rolls over fast. Bond investors demand higher rates. The benefit evaporates. The post-World War II precedent everyone cites was driven by real growth, not inflation. The moment doesn't exist anymore. The Iran war isn't a geopolitical story. It's an oil story. 20% of oil flows through the strait. Higher oil equals sticky inflation. Fed stays frozen. PE multiples compress. A lot of wealth evaporates quietly with no single headline to blame. Policy uncertainty is a tax that doesn't show up in the balance sheet until it does. This is kind of like the tariff flip-flopping and whatnot. Shifting tariffs, questions about Fed independence, unpredictable foreign policy. Markets hate uncertainty more than bad news. The risk premiums should be rising. It isn't, and that gap worries me. My base case is stagflation light. Growth 1%, inflation 4%, Fed paralyzed, margins compress. The market doesn't crash, it churns sideways for 12 to 18 months with violent rallies that bait re-entry and sharp pullbacks that punish it. For levered investors, this feels like a bear market. I think for crypto also. And that's kind of what, in some ways, crypto has kind of gone through the last little bit, is the market seems to have rallied again sharply here. But crypto just is kind of trying to find a bottom still. The tail risk nobody's watching closely enough, a disorderly treasury auction where bond markets demand sharply higher yields to keep buying U.S. debt. That's not gradual. That's a signal the slow burning debt crisis became acute. In that scenario, 25 to 30% down is a conservative estimate. What I'm actually doing, shorter duration bonds, more real assets, energy, commodities, inflation hedges, international diversification outside of the U.S., holding more cash than I'm comfortable with, reducing leverage everywhere. I'm not calling a crash. I'm not telling you to sell everything. I'm saying the calm is real, so is what it might proceed. The risks are visible. They're just The risks are visible. They're just being ignored. I'd rather be early and wrong than correct and unprepared, not financial advice to your own research. So basically what Mike's saying is, I think there's a lot of uncertainty there with the debt. And what we've seen with oil going up is that the market and bond traders are demanding higher yields because they think the Fed might raise rates because rates are going to go up likely to suppress inflation. And so I don't know that. I mean, you really got to read through this, take it for what it is. I mean, this has 100 impressions, but Mike is an absolute legend right here. So he's called some market tops and sent me theses before that ended up proving very, very right. And he's a very talented trader. So go and read this here. And maybe you know what I'll have is I'll reach out to Mike, and after consensus, I'll get Mike on the show and maybe we can explain this thread and kind of what this means for us for trading more crypto. GM Top Fumbler. But I mean, I think this is just like more risk stuff. The hardest thing to do is sell some of your crypto assets sometimes. I am the worst offender at that. So keep that in mind. The other thing I'll show, and you guys know that, I am a big bull on Galaxy Digital. I've been talking about Galaxy on this show since the very first episode. And this is the only equity that I own. And what I love about Galaxy is it's one of the first institutional companies kind of built from the ground up as a crypto native company, as well as one of the largest AI data center builders. And so we have an update from Galaxy. I'm going to play this video because I think this video is epic and it just shows the development. So as you see here, this is the old, I believe it was Argo Bitcoin mining, was a Bitcoin mining firm that Galaxy bought for $60 million. I think of $30 million in a distressed asset sale in 2023. And what's key here is not necessarily the Bitcoin mining and the building that you see here and all the cooling infrastructure. The key here was their ERCOT in West Texas, their power contracts. They had 800 megawatts in power contracts and then have been recently granted another 800 million, bringing them to, or 800 megawatts, sorry, bringing them to 1.6 gigawatts. And they applied for these power contracts 5 and even more years ago. So it takes a long time to get these. So I'm going to play this because this is really cool. So there you have it. This is one of the biggest data centers in the United States. It is a huge project. They work with CoreWeave. So Galaxy you can think of as just the landowner, the tenant, the power owner, and has built the data center. Now they hand over that completed data center to CoreWeave, who is an industry leader in actually putting the chips into the center, powering them up, and then having the relationships with the hyperscalers like Google, et cetera. Crazy they're building data center in the desert. Absolutely. So there's kind of like two key things here. In this area of West Texas, as you can see, it's very flat. They actually have an abundance of wind energy. And so a lot of the power coming from this is actually coming from a huge surplus in wind turbine energy that they just, have contracts for. Hey, Dom, what's up?
What's up, dude? Been fighting with my wife all morning.
So this here is no worries. this year is a massive project that is kind of years in the making. But I mean, if you're not plugged into the space, your plays in AI are like buying the NVIDIA chips or buying NVIDIA or the chipset makers or buying some of the data center players. These guys definitely have a huge asset here. So I'm going to go through the chart real quick, and then I'm going to ask Grok, and I already have teed up Grok here, of what Grok thinks this asset is actually worth. Dom, I might get you to mute because I can just hear you clicking around, which is all good. But so here we're going to go check the chart on Galaxy. And again, I told you guys about Galaxy here on this dip at $17. And I felt pretty strongly that this was a bottom on Galaxy right around here. And so it IPO'd. So this has been listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange for a very long time, but this went live on the NASDAQ at around $20. So it had dipped below its actual IPO price on the NASDAQ. Kind of got this, like, I don't know, I'm not going to TA expert this, but some sort of ascending channel here. It's on the top part of the channel, and it actually looks pretty good here at a $25 stock. And they had just announced a $200 million share buyback, which I think has powered a good chunk of this move. But even at $25 a share, Galaxy's market cap is, let's see. Okay, this says 4.8 billion here on Yahoo Finance, but that is definitely incorrect. It is 100% higher than 4.8 billion. It should be around 10 billion. Let me see on StockTwits, which they have. Okay, yeah, 9 billion. So right now you got 9 billion. Now Galaxy has one of the biggest crypto businesses in crypto. Made sometimes they lose money because crypto asset prices are down, but sometimes they make money. And so they've made $500 million a quarter sometimes just from their crypto business alone. Now this data center will be producing hundreds of millions of dollars in free cash flow. Now Grok here, I asked Grok kind of like, give me comparables for what this asset, which is the data center alone, could be worth. And so Grok's saying about $15 billion based on comparables. And it even broke down some of the based on the deal structure. So rough math, based on a 650 million to 900 million in EBITDA, which is basically free cash flow. The initial phase of Galaxy to get this to 800 megawatts could be 11 to 18 billion dollars in value. And yeah, once the campus is built out, this is a very large asset. So the stock is, valued at 10 billion, but that doesn't value the other parts of the business. They have the ETFs. They're a large institutional asset manager. They're plugged in to, all the stablecoin projects. They provide liquidity everywhere in the space. They're the largest derivative counterparty. Like, these guys are huge in crypto. And they also have one of the biggest data center assets that are worth, 1.5 times their current market cap. So I think this is a really good long-term equity to be exposed of, even if crypto kind of struggles. The AI side alone of this business is a nice option. And then if crypto is successful, which we all think it will be, I think there's upside there. So I like this play. I continue to like it. $17 to $27, a good 60% or 50% move there for you guys if you took that trade. That's Galaxy. I covered some of Mike's money thoughts. And Dom, how you doing?
Dude, doing good. I'm not sure if I'm lagging or how I'm doing over here. I've been fighting with
You're
my
clean.
Wi-Fi all day. Okay, that's good. I got one of these stupid little Wi-Fi like connectors that plugs into my computer, and I think I need a new one because it's just so faulty. My thing drops like every 30 seconds. But we're here now. I seem to have gotten like a temporary fix, and it's now a problem for after stream. So we got a pack one today. I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about peptides. Really get into it here with Absent shortly.
Dom, what are peptides?
Josh is a peptide. I shouldn't even try to explain it because I'll make myself look like a fool, I'm sure. But essentially, peptides, I believe, based on my knowledge, are amino acids, potentially amino acids that are
you take amino acids and you create different like strings of amino acids to do different things. Very smooth brain take, I'm sure. Like Absent is probably laughing at that in the back rooms, which we'll pull him up and have him talk about it. But pretty much, Josh, it's being touted as the miracle drug. You want to lose fat and retain muscle, you can do it. You want to grow your hair back, you can do it. You want to, drop stress levels, you can do it. Like whatever it is under the sun, they can manipulate these cells or whatever into different strings that do different things. So that's what people are saying. Lots of, on one side, I'm hearing everyone say dude, this is fantastic. It's going to make so much money. It is a miracle drug. And the other side, I'm hearing people say, there's no way this doesn't have tailwind effects and long-term effects. I'm kind of in that camp, bro. Like I don't subscribe to anything unnatural being like good for the long term. Okay. And maybe I don't know. Maybe I changed my mind today, but I have seen pictures of retatrutide. And again, I'm not sure if these studies are accurate or who did these studies, where retatrutide, I think, is what causes you to lose fat but retain muscle. But it actually really affected bone density, is something I think I saw. So I don't know, dude. Like I'm pretty much an open book.
There's always a side effect to everything. Yeah. I find it funny because every time I travel in the States, I turn on the TV. It's either like getting sued for like some medical situation. Like, yeah, it's just, I think it's funny.
I cannot believe you're not like tapped in with peptides, dude. It's absolutely blowing up. Nonetheless, I mean, it looks like we got Absent here. We can start a little early if we want. It's 11:57. We can get right into it.
Yeah, we'll give them a couple minutes. I don't know if you have any, just before we flip to this, if you have any takes on today. I mean, we see oil kind of creeping higher here. At least on the bond yields I track, they are up today a little bit, which they're up decent amount.
Bonds
The
are
Canadian
up, yeah.
3 years up. I track the Canadian one because our mortgage rates priced on that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. The market's all-time high. Like, I don't know. What are we thinking?
Man, it's crazy. I'm thinking that crypto needs to catch up, dude. Crypto has posed so far in the last like 5 years as the biggest opportunity cost trade of all time. Like crypto being down for the last couple of years and stocks and bonds and not bonds, stocks and equities and all that stuff at all-time highs and continuing to rip is just like pain for the sidelines. So big opportunity.
People are definitely feeling it here. The capitulation is definitely, we did touch this 80K area, almost just wick below it. I mean, this was basically Chill's base case here was hit 80K and then kind of retest this 58K area. Your thoughts of a last test there?
No, I don't think we do that. I mean, it could happen. Like I don't have the crystal ball in front of me, but you guys know I've stayed true to the bottom here when we hit like 60K. So yeah, I stayed true to that. I continue to think that's been the bottom. I mean, maybe we take another stab lower, but I ultimately think if we get back in that range, you can continue to DCA. And again, same thing. Now, I said this with NVIDIA. If you get a 10-15% dip on NVIDIA and you're willing to hold for a long term, you're probably good. A little bit different with Bitcoin, but if you get a dip on Bitcoin back into this range or below, I'd say if you average below, 65K, 70K, and you're willing to be patient for a year, 2, 3, you're good. Like you'll be fine. So that continues to be my message. I'm not really trying to time the bottom here, just trying to average anytime I get I think an undervalued chance. Again, we talked about the idea of Bitcoin and where it really accelerates. It's when you disassociate any US dollar value with Bitcoin, you start just valuing things at Bitcoin. And the idea is that eventually we have the entire world at least looking to diversify a portion of their portfolio into Bitcoin as a safe haven. And when you get to that point, you start to see a massive acceleration in Bitcoin and massive FOMO from people just saying, I need to have some Bitcoin, even if I don't believe in it, just as a safe haven. And that's when prices really start getting crazy. And again, that kind of coincides with the US dollar failing and all other currencies failing, but not going to go down the tangent here on the rabbit hole. Just gonna stick with peptides for the most part today.
Let's go peptides. I'm just DMing Absent. I don't know if he's there or not. I think maybe he is.
I think we're good. We'll pull him up and let's just let's test the water.
All right, we're gonna test the screen here. Absent, are you
Oh.
there?
I am. Hold on. Sorry, let me try to get my screen up. I thought it was sharing.
You are sharing here.
Yeah, we have your screen share, but also your mic sounds a little scrambled, just so you know. Yeah, your mic is definitely a little scrambled.
Hold on. Where are we at now with the mic? Is that better?
No.
Gonna be a no.
That's worse. Oh goodness. Okay, 1 second. I'm sorry.
Nah, man, you figure out your stuff. It's all good. And we're also getting feedback too through your mic. So I don't know if you have headphones or something like that you could throw in.
Are we a little bit better now?
No, sir.
Maybe try to leave and then reconnect.
Yeah.
All right.
In the meantime,
We'll tee up your projects. All good. Why don't you hop out, reconnect, do your thing, and we'll be back. Don, can you pull open fold and just kind of, I don't know if you can tee up this, like, why are people talking about on-chain peptides and what this thesis is
sure.
broadly?
Well, let me check their chart. I guess I'll give you guys some context here. So the fold chart. Now, by the way, for those that have not been paying attention, peptides on chain have been going pretty dumb. Okay. We don't have anything going real stupid yet, but we do have like a lot of repricing across the board for meme coins about peptides, people doing peptide research. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, on one hand, there's like LLMs just hallucinating and making bogus research on peptides, and like these research peptide companies are complete LARPs. On the other hand, I've seen people say, they really like them. And of course, the charts are going higher. So not entirely sure what to think about it, but I'm definitely all ears for peptides. Let's go to their website and check out, just an idea what this is going on here. Autonomous protein folding and peptide design. Again, these are just terms that are like going way over my head. From local, I know everyone's peptide maxing these days, so I should probably know this stuff, but I don't. From local AlphaFold predictions to wet lab ready peptide candidates, an open pipeline for neurodegenerative diseases and beyond. So like, I'm seeing people throw around the word wet lab, right? I'm assuming that's like a test environment. I have no idea. Like, I don't even know what that means. But they're working on TDP43 M337V, which is a protein structure analysis. It looks like they're working on another protein structure analysis, So AlphaFold predictions, local collab fold predictions running on dedicated GPU infrastructure, Claude powered structural interpretations, open research. Okay, so this is seems like a peptide research lab for the most part.
Full or absent? Are you there, buddy?
Yeah, 1 second. I'm trying to get the other mic hooked up.
Clean mic.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. And I don't know if you were, it looks like your camera's on, but I don't know if you have something in front of it or whatever. All good. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to, but just letting you know.
All righty, 1 second. I'm sorry. Hold on.
It's all good.
All good. Yeah. Aren't you, you're in college or something, right? University? Don't you do like classes online or something?
I am. I'm a full-time student right now. All my classes are in person, so it's a little bit difficult kind of managing both of these. But yeah, I'm in school until about 3 p.m. every day, and then I come home and I grind this until about 3 a.m. and don't really sleep or eat in the meantime. It's been fun.
That's the life, man.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's great.
Go for it, Dom, if you want to kick us off.
Are we good to go?
Any better? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine right now. This works. Are you going to be on camera or no?
Okay. No, I was trying to screen share. Do you... Hold on.
Screen share's not working. I mean, if anything, we can also, pop some stuff up on the screen. I got your website pulled up, got your Twitter pulled up. So we can navigate through that. Did you have like a demo or something you were going to show us?
No, I was just going to kind of click around on the website while we were going.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
All right, Absent. Well, without further ado, we appreciate you coming on today. We are really curious about peptides. It seems like everyone's talking about them. So curious just in general to get like an idea of what the heck peptides are and, how we can position and stuff.
Yeah.
Bro's really absent from the screen, but it's good to meet you. Would love to get a little bit on yourself and background, and then you can teach us all about peptides.
Yeah, absolutely. See, background wise, I'm a software engineering student right now. Recently went back to school after a couple year hiatus of, just kind of letting my brain atrophy. Thought I lost it. Got back in the classroom. Thank God for elasticity. Brain still works. It's awesome. Good thing. But yeah, software engineering student. And I got into kind of this realm of things last year in September, October. I watched the Google DeepMind documentary. And, one of the things that they touched on was AlphaFold and the protein folding. And I was both kind of fascinated and pissed off. So I was like, oh, this is an awesome open source tool. It's available to anybody. Why the hell aren't more people doing this? There's so much compute kind of left around that, all these people with sick gaming PC rigs and yada, yada, and all you do is game on it. In the background, you could be, contributing to disease research and cures. So of course that prompted me to look at it myself. And then after about like 30 minutes of playing with it, I was like, oh, this is why nobody does this shit. This is really difficult and really hard to understand. I had no idea what was going on. So yeah, the project started with just wanting to automate the entire process. And so that was kind of the first script that I had produced. I was just doing this stuff locally in my free time last year. And I just made an automation script. And then I was like, okay, I still didn't really understand the outputs that well. So I wanted to add like a literature agent kind of to it to start explaining what the outputs were, what they meant, what they did. And that was really fun. And then I have some coining buddies who were like, dude, the Pump Fun Hackathon is sick. They're like, you should coin this. This is awesome. And that's what pushed me to start, building a website and having the coin, obviously, and getting all of this pushed out. So it just was a personal project that kind of ended up going a little bit full scale. And I'm super grateful for that. But yeah, one thing led to another with it. I entered the other hackathon while I was in the Pump Fun Hackathon, and that one was sponsored by BIOS Protocol, who was a super legit and awesome and helpful team. I ended up winning in theirs and have been keeping in contact with them since, and they have just been, I can't say enough good things about them. They've been so helpful, and they're the ones that gave me the peptide idea probably in February, because this is when they started getting into it themselves. They saw kind of similarity in the way we had our research process set up, and so they were interested in collaborating a little bit further. And of course they just dropped, I'm gonna butcher this, I forgot exactly what it was for ADHD, but they kind of made a breakthrough there regarding that. And that's what, ended up pumping their token and put kind of DSci back on the map. But yeah, they were the ones hinting at me a couple months ago. They were like, you need to start looking at peptide research for all of this and building this in. And, they've been really helpful. They set up a group chat for me in their build space. Just really, really awesome team, man. They're always there for any questions and any help. And have been throwing me some awesome recommendations. So super great.
So to break this down a little bit, you're a computer engineer, not like a scientist or doctor or medical professional.
No. What got me into that, though, I guess I left that part out, that's why I'm focused right now, mainly on the neurodegenerative diseases. There's a lot of dementia in my family. Both of my grandparents on my dad's side had it. My grandma had passed away in.
Oh, what happened there? We lost him. Jeez.
No.
Device not connected.
No.
So I'm trying to see how we bridge this gap from computer engineer to doing like medical studies. And I guess he's using some sort of like. Okay, we got him back. Here we go. Hey,
Yeah, you're back.
Are we back? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, where I was going though is that shoot, where did you guys lose me?
We lost you at explaining. You were talking about dementia runs in the family. I guess it got you interested in.
And we're trying to bridge the gap here between your computer science and, getting into medical stuff.
Yeah. No, well, it turned personal for me. My grandmother, like I said, it's pretty rampant in the family. It's starting on my mother's side with my grandparents over there as well. But my grandmother had recently passed away in February, and that's what really kind of pushed me to get really, really interested and dive deeper into this. And there's such a wide availability of tools nowadays, but I think the playing field is kind of level as far as who can get into things. And I was going to go into your breakdown before I got on here also regarding that. But I've always been like a if not me, then who type of guy. And if there's a problem, I like to at least attempt to solve it. And
before we talk about dementia, can you explain what peptides are? Because I just don't know, and I don't think a lot of people know.
Peptides and protein folding. Give us the high level.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the protein folding is sweet. It allows you to kind of simulate, you get a string of amino sequences, and then you're able to simulate them using AlphaFold or Colab Fold, whatever you're using locally, to kind of model the peptide. Actually, if you go onto the folds tab on the website right there.
This is your screen.
Oh, it is on mine. Oh, let's go. Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, I get onto folds, and like this is what you would get off of the database is the amino sequence right here. And this is what you are generating off of that amino sequence. And so it's really cool. I mean, as you're going across each one, you can see where it highlights it on the protein itself, which is awesome. This is called Molstar Viewer. It's built in, but it allows you
so the AlphaFold thing is they basically were going to create this service, but there's this famous clip where the head of AlphaGo, I believe, was told that they could in 1 month, if they put all their compute power to sequencing all possible known sequences, they could do it in 1 month. And they said, well, why don't we do that? And they open source that. And so what that allows you to do is take these proteins, I'm assuming, and kind of apply it to potential science outcomes. Is that true?
Yeah, exactly. Which is awesome because this stuff used to, to simulate a protein, it used to take months, if not years, to get anything worth working with. Like it took them a very long time. And they just completely compressed the research side of things with this, which is awesome. And so with that, like I believe Dom was saying before I got on, is that peptides are essentially amino sequences themselves. They're replicating kind of a smaller part of what is already found in whatever your target protein is. And they're working pretty much, put it bluntly and kind of in a funny way, they're dapping up the existing proteins that are already in your body. You're creating something with peptides that matches the structure that is already found in you, which is where, it's different than a traditional medication that is supposed to be like a completely foreign substance. These are replicating small parts of substances already in you.
Right. So your body has these receivers for, you could almost like think of this as a key, and your body's like the lock, and it has the receiver. And when it interacts with it, it kind of just, I guess, it interacts at a molecular level. That's what's going on. Do I understand that correctly? And it unlocks the lock to something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And so, it can either turn something on in the peptide, or I mean in the protein, turn something off in the protein, or capture something bad, all by modeling the structure that is already there. So when you're able to accurately predict where mutations might be occurring, you can make something that would counteract that, and be able to send it in as a little army into your body.
Right. And so the difference between this and a drug is that a drug is like a synthetic kind of molecule or something like that, a synthetic structure, but this is organic. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Okay, so it's an organic version of essentially what a drug is. The organic version of it is called an amino acid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're just creating a shorter, more specific sequence of what already exists inside you, which is good because it's accepted well, but it's also broken down very fast in your body, which is why you kind of do have to cycle these things. But it's part of what makes it work so well, is its acceptance into you.
All right, time out for a second. So to zoom out, the kind of like the drug industry is massive, and it's been built on developing and patenting molecules, right? And you basically, a scientist patents this molecule, they create it, and then they put it out, and they make a ton of money doing this. What AlphaFold unlocked, which is backed by Google, this is Google DeepMind, is they said, hey, we'll give every known protein in existence out there for free, open source. And now what people like yourself are coming along and saying is, hey, these natural occurring amino acids could essentially do what drugs are doing, but are natural and they break down in the body. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah. It's supposed to be, from the development side of things, a lot quicker and a lot cheaper. And from the health side of things, yeah, you're gonna get a lot less drawback, or side effects.
Talk about these side effects for a second. So are these give me the benefits, but I don't receive some of the stuff you see on TV, like, well, sue this drug company because you grew like a third arm or something like that.
I mean, yeah, the benefits is pretty much stopping aggregation, which is the spread of an already mutated protein, because that's what happens. If one starts to mutate, links up with another, it starts to mutate, links up with another, starts to mutate. So like with in my specific case with neurodegenerative stuff, you can create basically a mask on the mutated part of that protein that would stop it from being able to cling to other ones and start mutating them as well.
Right. And so, sorry, this is where you get into the dementia disease specifically. And it's kind of like cancer in a way that the cells are mutating and creating bad cells, which then build up over time. And what you're saying is this amino acid can bond to that cell and essentially stop it from creating bad cells afterwards. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Supposed to stop it. And I think in some cases, people are starting to develop ones that are kind of having reversing effects. Let me see, what was it called? I think RTR 242 or 42.
And so what are the limitations of these peptides? Because the way I've seen it or heard it is that they can pretty much manipulate, help with like any little specific thing, depending on how specific you want to get. And some people are taking stacks of peptides to do, a whole, barometer of different things. What can a peptide not do?
That is, slightly outside of my realm. I think that we are still really early into finding out fully what it can do and also what it can't do. I mean, this is also new. The research techniques are also new. And a lot of the studies going into it are so new. And this kind of brings me back to what you were saying before I got on about the tailwheel effect of, pumping this out. And that's where I personally have some of my concerns with like a lot of just not necessarily competition, but I guess you could say competition of people trying to rush out and be first to find a cure, to find, anything they claim that is beneficial, is that you get not as thorough and in-depth research and results from it. And even with the people who are kind of just outsourcing their recipes, if you will, completely, you're not getting back the most optimized drug, and B, the safest, cleanest, healthiest either. Like I know that a lot of people who are buying from kind of not really well vetted suppliers, they're finding, you send them off to a third party lab and you're finding lead in the peptides. Like it's getting a little bit sketchy because people are trying to be so fast and so competitive that they're not really stopping for the quality control part of things, which is obviously super important because, yeah, sure, maybe you got handsome and your skin looks better and you have great hair now when you're jacked, but like you're also going to have testicular cancer in like 10 years. So these are the trade-offs that people aren't super wary of, or they seem not to care about because everybody wants to be so focused on being fast and being first and being like, oh, I'm the guy who did it. They're not slowing down enough to look at the entire picture.
And is there no regulation here, like with molecules and the FDA oversees the normal drug industry? What is there regulation with peptides?
Hardly right now, and that's why they're all sold under the guise of it being a research chemical. Most of these that you're buying are going to be labeled not for human consumption. Well, like obviously you're consuming it, but this is what they have to do to kind of operate in that gray area, and that's what RFK is kind of going to be addressing this summer, which is another bull case for it that kind of kicked all this off. I think probably 2 weeks ago was that announcement.
And that announcement was that there would be 7 peptides that were legalized. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's trying to take some of the stipulation and regulation off of them and bump them from class 2 to a class 1 so that there's actual, methodology and making sure that these are clean, safe, healthy things to take, because at this point the ones that he had on the list are pretty tried and true, and so if you're going to properly mitigate the issue, you might as well be making sure that it is safe and clean for people to be taking.
Yeah.
So Absent, this has been a good explanation, I think, broader on what peptides are, but I want to keep this timely. So I want to get more into Clarity Protocol itself now that we have a better idea and kind of break down what you're doing exactly. So what is Clarity Protocol, if someone asks, and can you break down a bit of what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I am hosting everything locally. We're going all the way from the protein fold, which I have autonomously, running. I have a queue going for it at all times. So every single night one gets folded and posted. Once you get the fold posted, I showed this part already, but now you have the 3D structure to look at. The sequence is all up here still, and a little TLDR on what you're looking at, detailed analysis, everything about it. I have the works cited right here, similar research regarding that protein, research data, what's already found, disease associations with that specific mutation. Another little brief, kind of more associated with the structure. These are products from AlphaFold. And then domain annotations. This is kind of like the most recent part of it all, which is where like the peptide starts coming in. This is a structural caption, therapeutics, residues and things that they've already found that have been working for that type of mutation. Here's the candidate peptides, and then legacy candidates is what I am creating and keeping kind of private. I'm releasing general information about it, but the actual recipe itself is what I have been gatekeeping a little. Because because this is where you're able to start actually patenting and producing.
Okay, so every night a new one of these comes out. Is that pulling from the Google DeepMind's, like discography of stuff that they have, or so every night a new one's coming out, then you're getting all this information on it. Then like what happens from there? Is this for researchers? Like I'm trying to figure out who the target audience is, or then what you do with like this information.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it originally, that's why I have the download report here. So you can get kind of all of this downloaded as a markdown file. And if you have an agent running, you can start, diving deeper into it, which I think is fun. And that's why originally I had started this also with the lab. So you can submit hypotheses, rationale, variant notation. I would fold it. I would produce all of the outputs and get that back to you, so you have something to work with, kind of, and you can have your agents all interact and do agent collaboration and all that, where I provide an API, you have access to all the data that I produce, you can start working with it from there. And honestly, another shout out to BIOS. They kind of vamped me on this also with beach.science. If anybody ever wants to check that out or is interested, it is extremely thorough and cool, and great visualizers also, and watching the agents work. It's really sweet.
So what happens from here? Let's say the night passes, another one of these folds comes out. People then put their agents on it, or they start studying it to get this information. Like what kind of comes from that? You said there's also a part at the end that you're trying to kind of gatekeep and keep to yourself for now. Like what part are you gatekeeping? I'm still, I think, trying to piece together like what comes from this information here.
Yeah, I mean, the first point that I'm trying to stick true to for me doing this project was kind of making the research more available to everybody. I wanted to encourage people to start doing this research on their own. If there's anything that they care about, any disease that's personal to them, if they're curious about it, I wanted to provide all the things that would normally scare somebody away, like all the technical jargon and complications that go into even getting into this, because I feel like when you first start looking at it, it's such a turnoff that normal people don't want to just be like, yeah, I'm going to continue doing this. This looks simple. Okay, it looks really, really complicated, and it kind of is. So I'm trying to make it less complicated so that more people are able to actually contribute. The stuff that I'm gatekeeping is hypothesized compounds for the specific mutation, and that's where I kind of have a recipe, if you will, that can then be sent off to a wet lab and be pushed to production and actually tested physically. And so that kind of goes back to what I was saying also about competition forcing not really good products. People aren't putting the time and the care into it, and there's a lot of things that go into making a compound that actually make it a viable solution in your body, like the blood-brain barrier, and like the pharmacokinetics, blood-brain barrier. All this is how the peptide would actually survive in your body, and if it's going to stay alive long enough to meet the points that it's designed to meet. So you can have one that's theoretically really good on your computer, and the literature aligns with your hypothesis, and it looks good, but the second that it's physical and your body is actually trying to break it down or put it to use, it's not even going to have the legs and the right design to meet those contact points and actually do anything beneficial.
So I want to get to kind of where potential, I guess, the value kind of could be created. And we extended this by 10 minutes here. So we'll go to 12:40 Eastern because it's a really interesting conversation. So you have a platform that's generating these confidence levels. So if you go to folds, it shows confidence of this amino acid could be helpful to solve this problem. Here's a bunch of consolidated information and research so people can kind of talk about it. I'm assuming that's what those confidence levels are. Is that?
Yeah. A lot of the confidence is produced from the AlphaFold itself. And then as well as what I pull from other sources gets weighed into it. in the other confidence levels. But yeah, a lot of them are generated from the AlphaFold process, and then you piece my own literature into it. And
okay, and so this protein here that you have, you know how to actually make it, right? That's what you're keeping kind of to yourself right now is how to actually create it in a lab environment. Is that correct?
This is what's generated. The compound, the peptide itself is what I'm gatekeeping. Yes.
Okay.
Because then based off of this, I can start getting the recipe. There's other tools that are also available for doing that, which again, I'm at a moral dilemma because I do want to encourage everybody to do this themselves, but I also have people who are finally starting to pop up and kind of compete in this space that I've been trying to push for the past 6 months.
So really you're creating a peptide factory / research lab.
Yeah, research lab, and I'm not going to bother, I'm not going to name any names, but you're not running a wet lab in-house. Dude, like that's not really a feasible thing. I'm sorry. But when you are able to produce good structures, you can send them off to a third-party lab, have them produced, tested by people actually involved in the biomedical field, which is what's important.
That's what I want to get to here is this next kind of step here. So let's say this protein is what you think is high confidence. So you're going to send that to a lab. Are you like already kind of like partnered with labs? Are these things happening at your university? And then once they say, okay, this is really great, we think this has legs here from a research standpoint, they'll then begin human trials. And then you could go through some sort of patenting process to say, okay, I know how to create this, manufacture this, and then people can hopefully use it as a better alternative to drugs. Is that the right development pipeline that I'm thinking about?
That's pretty much the pipeline. Yeah. So you work with, I'm in communication with a couple of private wet labs this is why I've also been talking to a few other DAOs about getting funding, because every single one of these tests costs like a few $1,000s because there's a certain amount of compounds that go into it. And so in order to create a truly novel one that is even worth patenting, it has to meet a certain criteria of new structure. So the compounds that are going into it haven't been used in a similar way. It just has to be a completely new structure. Instead of slapping a Chevy badge on a Ford and saying that I created a brand new Chevy model, I have to create the whole chassis and engine and everything for it to be a new car. It's pretty much how it is. So yeah, you're sending it out, and if it's eligible and if it's patentable, that's exactly what you can do, and you can start, going through the entire legal process for getting it to be an actual worthy compound.
Okay, and so then at this point, let's say all things go well, wet lab tests come back. Okay, this thing works. Now you're going through the legal process of selling this thing. You said there's some gray area. Are you slapping for testing purposes only on it and start shipping it out to bodybuilders who maybe could use it? Or
is Dom boosting his pecs here, or what's going on?
How do we start making money?
You wearing the wire? No, that's kind of where you would likely have to operate right now. I think the most value that's provided, though, is from designing the structure and getting it into the right hands of a aligned team who has already handled a lot of the legal, and a lot of it is well established, because I would love to sell these things also. That is still my goal, but I also want to do it correctly and in a way that is long-term and is not going to screw anything up. Like I would never try to push anything on anybody that is not going into my own body. And so that's why I'm working on the neuro stuff to kind of hone it all in and, perfect it before I start expanding to other compounds, which is absolutely my intention. But this is what the path that I set out to complete, and I would like to complete it before I start expanding.
So where the economics come into play for you, where we start making money, is you find a solution and then you're basically kind of going and finding a buyer for it. You're not even going to go through the whole production and legal process yourself. maybe that's not your expertise, but maybe someone else is willing to. So do you know how that process works? Is it like you start just dialing and being like, yo, I have this compound for this solution, 10 million bucks and it's yours. Like, how does that work?
That's why it is nice being in communication with DAOs. Like I said, with BIOS, their team has been super helpful. I don't want to blast too much out, but for their sake and for, crypto Twitter, because everybody here creates a timeline, and if you don't fulfill it on their timeline, then you get left in the dust. Which is why it's kind of hard for me to say things concrete. But yeah, essentially that I think would be the goal, is just teaming up with people who are well established and who can take it there. Unless I end up with a good amount of funding and a good team myself, then at this point I care more about getting solutions pushed to the public than I do about, trying to completely run it myself.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. We have a few minutes here, so I'm going to go into speed round mode with you, and you're just going to start riffing these off. You have this token. How are you thinking about the token right now? Like, where does it kind of play a role in this ecosystem?
The token right now, obviously, is great for funding these types of experiments. You still get some of the creator fees off of Pump Fund, so that's kind of just been going in a pool for the inevitable first wet lab testing. I'm still eligible in that hackathon. If I do that, then I will have a good amount of funding myself. In the meantime, it's just going to have to come out of my pocket. And then as far as making sales on the website goes, which I'll need to start updating that, I think that incentivizing it for token holders would be great via, tiered discounts on peptides, as well as kind of a buy and burn situation to make it deflationary, and also have tiered discount levels on whatever I can get my hands on. Everything I get on there, I have a shipment that is coming in, should be this week. I'll post that when I get it. It's going to get sent out to third-party testing too, of course, and I'll have all the lab results posted, whether they're good or bad. I'm just, like I said, I'm not going to push anything that I wouldn't feel comfortable taking myself or giving to my family. So
shipment of what, of the precursor kind of material to make the amino acid, or
I've got a few established compounds that have a large overlap in exactly what I'm trying to research and accomplish. So we're going to see about that when it gets here. Like I said, I'll be posting more and having more updates on that as it actually arrives.
So you mentioned no hard dates on things, which I completely like. That makes sense. Can you give us a bit of a roadmap here, I guess, on what comes next? Is it get these products in? Just maybe walk me through your roadmap here.
Yeah, roadmap. I mean, right now, really hone in on the research pipeline. That's just what I've been doing every single day. The next big step is going to be getting something sent out to a wet lab and having my first trial, because whether it works or not, it's good feedback to have on what I need to tweak personally. So pipeline, wet lab, finding a good vendor / partnership to actually be able to provide things that I can test myself and sell myself on the website, and long-term kind of expanding into other areas of the peptides that aren't just neurodegenerative specific. I'd love to cover the whole ground. This type of pipeline, once you get it all built out and working, is applicable to anything that you're trying to research, really. It's just like I said, this is what I'm a little bit dead set on right now, and the reason why I started it, so I'd like to stick to it.
I also saw a crazy stat, I think, like the two top selling GLP drugs, which is like the weight loss drugs, did like double the amount of profit as all big major LLMs and language models combined last year. Some like $60 billion in profit. Do you have like a total addressable market, or any numbers you could give us on just like trying to gauge the size of this market, or how big it could get? And then, like, frankly, how much market share, I guess, is even possible to be taken from, people like yourself?
I mean, this is a decent number right here. Granted, this it counts for kind of everything as far as dementia cares, whether that be homing and treatment and everything else. But yeah, 1.3 trillion global cost, 55 million people living with dementia worldwide. And by 2050, the number of people with dementia is projected to reach 139 million. And so I think also what's cool with peptides is it gives you kind of a preventative measure. You're able to start combating things that might be inevitable to you in the future. And like, particularly for the people in the United States, we eat a bunch of just, for lack of better terms, bullshit all day. It's like, you can now have the option to pay $100 a month to completely offset a lot of the damage that is essentially shaving off 10 to 15 to 20 years of your life and wrecking your cognition, which is a pretty good deal, unless you can like afford to move to Europe and start eating a bunch of fruit and getting more sun and walking around more.
I'll tell you, I live in Canada, and half our grocery store is fresh produce, meat, and stuff like that. And I go to the US, and it's literally like 80% of it is all frozen.
Yeah, man. If you want to start shipping me some meat and fruit, maybe I could sell that on the website also. That would be great.
It's expensive. Stack. It's expensive.
Yeah, the natural stack is fresh blueberries and red meat and sunlight.
Yeah. Got it. We have to. This is a really interesting conversation, by the way. People want to know about peptides, but we got to wrap it here. Dom, I don't know if you have any one wrapping thought.
Maybe just because there was like a lot there. So maybe I'll do a quick little recap, and then Absinthe, you can tell me if I kind of got everything, and then just add, I guess, closing thoughts to that. So basically, we got to scoop on what a peptide is, how the aminos work. You've created this website that does deep research. Every night releases a fold, does deep research, and then kind of gives a rating on how viable these would be. And then from there, you are, if something kind of is viable and makes sense, you're then sending it off to a wet lab to get it tested. And if all tests come back and things work well, you now have a potential peptide that could be sold on the market. And you're looking to work with DAOs and other people to actually then sell the recipes per se for these peptides. And then maybe some private equity firm goes out and makes a couple $1 billion off selling them. Is that kind of a good recap?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty decent. The more collaboration, the better, especially with established people. There's a lot of grifters and impatient and fast moving people in this space, obviously. So you got to pick your partner, which is why it's really nice now having a repertoire with the BIOS team. Like I said, they are just awesome and well established and really kind, helpful, smart dudes. But essentially, yeah, that is kind of the timeline, the structure of it all. It's what I'm looking at.
Okay, cool. And you got a token that you're hoping to kind of loop into this more as things progress.
Yep.
Okay, well, Absinthe, this has been a really interesting conversation. I, for one, don't know too much about peptides, so it's been helpful, at least for me, to just understand the market. I know it's such a big market. I mean, the 1.5 trillion figure alone just for dementia is kind of crazy. There's so many places this can be implemented. So any closing thoughts for the people before we wrap up here?
Not too many. Thank you to everybody who's been interacting and reaching out. I'm slow on the DMs right now just because I'm in school, but come Friday, I will be in summer and I'll be grinding this project out a lot more. This has not been the full focus, and it's about to be the full focus. I've got 3 months of sitting on my desk to take care of, which I'm looking forward to. Yep, I love that, dude. I'm pumped. I just got a nice new GPU. The computer is sweet. I don't want to leave my house ever. So
get on some GLP-1s and just get a tub of ice cream and sit at your computer all day and go crazy.
Man. Yeah. So any questions, any collaborations, anything, feel free to reach out. I'm a pretty open book, and I love to hear what everybody has to say. I love to work with people smarter than me. Anything, man. Reach out. Thank you.
All right. See you, Absent.
See ya. Thank you, guys.
Dude, wild. Which is, Tom's here today.
I was fighting Wi-Fi, dude. I didn't have time to make it all pretty for you.
Orgo is on Thursday, right, Dom? I think Orgo's on Thursday.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no Orgo today, ecom.
1 minute thoughts, Josh. What do we think?
1 minute is, I don't know. I don't know. TBD on these ones. This is like a cottage industry a little bit that's popping up around peptides and needs to be regulated. And I don't know. it's beyond me, but at least we gave you guys the inside scoop on Fold and kind of these on-chain peptide projects, kind of where they're at in their development. I think still really early, but you got to bet on people, and he's been cooking, so we'll let him cook.
All right, well, let's get into liminal cash here. We got Jack in the waiting room, so without further ado, hey Jack, we appreciate you being patient here.
That's right. It's good to be back.
Yes, welcome back. Welcome back. We're excited.
We have the liminal hat. Look at that. The branding is on point now.
Yeah. We're handing out a bit of merch to the most loyal community members. So yeah, there's still a few hats left. So feel free to DM us on Twitter or.
There we go. Yeah, I know Josh will probably rep a hat during the stream or something. But Jack, tell us a little bit about a little bit about the updates, what's been going on. For those that are unfamiliar with Liminal Cash, maybe just quick TLDR on what you guys do.
Yeah, sure. So Liminal is a stablecoin neobank with an AI private banker inside it. So basically we have on and off ramps between 60 different countries. We package up DeFi protocols as like savings accounts, so it feels more familiar to mainstream users. And we have tokenized stocks ready to roll out in the next release. And then NIM is our AI agent, which you can talk to, and it bridges the gap between financial advice and financial execution. So everything that we offer in the app is also accessible through a chat. You can talk through the decisions, like how much should I be saving? Should I be buying these stocks? Like what's my risk profile? And then it can actually go and execute that for you.
And how are people taken to the kind of twist on the savings account? Just label it savings account, make it familiar, but it's actually DeFi. And how are you guys thinking about DeFi? Because we've seen it's been a rocky start to the year.
It has. We have taken a very deliberate approach of choosing, basically curating the most risk-free protocols, which is why the yield is like maybe not as high as it could be. But we bet, yeah, I would much rather that than the users lose their money. So we're really constantly monitoring the situation. It has been rocky for the past couple of months. But yeah, we assess all of the pools that we jump into and pick the lowest risk ones.
The last time you're on MCG, March 2nd, you were mentioning you're about to launch in the Google, Apple, and Play Store. Did that launch go ahead, and how's the app performing in the App Store?
We launched a month ago, yeah. So we were in test flight for about 3 months from I think just before Christmas, and then in what was it, March? I think we got approval from Apple and Google, and are now live in the Play Store. So you can just go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, type in Liminal, and we should come up, and you can get your account set up in a few seconds.
There we go. And how's reception been with that?
Yeah, we're growing every month. The volumes are increasing. We did 40K last month. We're trying to get it up to 80K this month. The goal is to just keep doubling these volumes for as long as possible. And that's on the on and off ramping side. And then savings is another thing. Once we launch tokenized stock trading, it'll be the same thing there, trying to keep usage growing. But really what we're focusing on right now is retention. Like we want people to continue to use Liminal and make it like a daily part of their lives, where this is the account that you use for all of your banking needs.
Yeah, there seems to be a ton of competition right now with neobanks. How do you, I guess firstly you have to get the customer, right? Acquire the customer and then have them stick around. So how do you go about, I guess, maybe let's just do that whole walkthrough. How do you go about acquiring the customer and then making a sticky app to keep them for longer?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the answer really depends on the geography that you're looking at. So we've built this to be global from day one. So you should be anywhere in the world and be able to download it. But what that means is the problems across the world that we're solving for are quite different. So in Brazil, which is a big market for us, we're targeting like digital nomads who earn in like US dollars, euros, or pounds, who are living in Brazil to get this like cheaper, more sunny sort of life. And the problems they have is that it's very hard in Brazil. You need to get a CPF number. You need to get a SIM card. If you want to open an actual bank account, you need like a digital nomad visa. But with Liminal, you can just download it and you can get your PIX code immediately and you can start spending immediately. So that, you kind of have to focus on the specific problems in each geography. But we're seeing a lot of traction over there.
Can I ask about your CL? Last time you mentioned a CLI layer allowing agents to use the application via the stablecoin layer. Has that shipped, and how have you seen reception of this? Because we all agree agents are like a big part of finance going forward, but it's still kind of early in those success stories. I don't know if you have any to share.
Yeah, so we do have the CLI. We use it internally. So yeah, basically we have the API that the app, all the buttons you click, they hit the API endpoints, and that does the functions in the app. We've then wrapped that into a CLI, which is like the native language of an AI agent. The only AI agent that's using this at the moment is NIM, which I think is mentioned in this video. Yeah, there we go. So you can talk to it. It does the typical LLM conversation loop, but there when you click done, it's using the CLI to actually go and execute those trades. The next phase of this is to open it up more broadly. Like, can I plug this directly into Claude Desktop? Can I plug it into ChatGPT? Can I just get Liminal inside the chat interfaces that I'm already using? That is like phase 2. We're testing it internally ourselves. We want to make sure that it's safe, and there's, before we open it up to the different distribution vectors.
Yeah, Jack, something I want to touch on here too is I feel like I see a lot of these neobanks really try to be the everything app, and I'm assuming you guys, want to be an everything app of sorts yourself. But I think a lot of people try to kind of go so broad with what they're offering that they don't really find product market fit in any specific thing. Are you seeing any specific vertical, I guess, from the neobank that's really been sticky or found good product market fit?
Yeah, so we've been gradually rolling out stocks, so it's hard to say here whether this is a sticky product. I mean, I'm using it personally, but on and off ramping side, like basically you can think of it like Wise, right? Like you need to get your one currency into the country that you're living in, and then FX it into the currency they're actually spending from. And we have one user who is now like receiving their salary into Liminal, and they use that to spend in Brazil. So like that, there we're seeing lots of product market fit on that side. And then it's just like, how do you upsell these people into the rest of the product? How does NIM make them feel more secure in their finances? How can they talk through the decisions that they're making and feel more informed? And another thing that we're launching in the next release is like joint accounts and split bills and like running tabs, so that there's more of a like social element to the app. You can join with your partner, get a joint account, which is under the hood like a multi-sig safe, and then from there being able to jointly deposit into a DeFi protocol, earn some yield on your money, jointly decide which stocks do we want in our portfolio as a couple, or even as like a household of friends. Like you could set up like a little syndicate. Like all these things, all these little primitives are being built out.
Very cool. Actually, you're the first neobank app that I think I've heard doing that. So that's actually a really interesting offering.
I know, and it's crazy because if you look at the traditional fintech market, like these are just features that you kind of expect to have in a neobank. And what we see from the current crypto cards are that they are just crypto cards. You deposit your stable coins and you spend from the card. Like we want the full functionality that you get and expect out of a modern fintech.
There's an app that I used called Ritual growing up, and it was like so it's kind of like Uber Eats, except you could in your office environment you could hop on the order of someone else. So like someone else is going to get burritos or whatever, and then it notifies you, and you could say, "Oh, do you want to add a few people to that?" And you could add up to 3 other orders, so that one person goes out, gets the burrito, but also the 3 others, and they earn a discount for doing so. And it was kind of this really cool way to drive user acquisition, and went so viral, and like everyone in the office was using this app. And I see you have 20K in volumes a couple months ago. You're now up to 40K, going to 80K. You had 150 DAUs and a wait list built up. Do you have more users now? Like that user acquisition, do you see that growing through the addition of stocks, also the addition of this kind of joint account idea? I think it's great.
Yeah, and I think it's also different currencies. So we had US dollars and euros, and we're soon going to be launching GBP, Colombian pesos, and Brazil reals. With the GBP side, like the interest rate is much higher. You can get like 6 to 7% on that. We're still like in the development phase for this, but what people in the UK care about is like, oh, from the central bank I can only get 4%, like, but here I can get 6. So yeah, again, it really depends on the geography. We're trying to find the problems in every single market that we're entering and offer a better product. And we think that the DeFi world is the best way to offer that to everyone.
How are you doing this? I mean, like for me, I know I couldn't go over to Europe and like know everything about their banking system. Are you guys finding local representation for each country you kind of expand to, or how are you guys thinking about that?
We're going and meeting them where they are. So we're in California at the moment. That's for a different reason, which we can get to later. Obviously, we're based in London, so we know that market quite well. We spent a month in Brazil talking to users there. Wherever we see the traction, like we just want to go be on the ground, meet people, find out what the actual problems are, and like how can we tailor the app to their specific needs.
Yeah, I also kind of want to touch on the enterprise maybe deals that you guys are looking at. You mentioned that you had someone taking their salary in stablecoin. I think that's a really interesting use case. You know, there's a lot of businesses that are stablecoin exclusive business. I'm seeing like there's these big clipping campaigns going on for Kick and some of these other big sites, and they're completely denominated in stablecoins. Have you approached enterprises and said, hey, we want you guys to use Liminal to settle all of your salaries in stablecoins?
We are targeting consumers at the moment, and these aren't just people who earn in stablecoins. We have virtual accounts in US, Europe, UK, so you actually get like a bank account. In the UK, you get a sort code and account number. In the US, you get a routing number and account number. In Brazil, you get a PIX code. It changes between all the different countries. But what that does is then you deposit the fiat into these accounts, into these named accounts. So you can give this to your employer and say, this is what I want to be paid into. That will then just automatically become stablecoins in your Liminal wallet, which then opens up the world of DeFi and tokenized stock trading. So you could be earning in Brazilian reals, convert it to USDC and buy tokenized stocks, which is like not something that is actually readily available. Brazil's a slightly different market because their interest rate is like 15%. So not many people actually want to take on the risk of owning equities. But yeah, that's just another example of how like it has to change depending on the market you're targeting.
So that's really fascinating because this has kind of been a personal thesis of mine for a while, to where it's like all these other third world countries, emerging countries are going to eventually just start using like the US dollar or a more stable currency rather than their inflated currency. And so it's a really interesting idea to have, okay, instant conversion from whatever currency, whatever my local currency is, to straight to USDC. However you guys end up doing it, and having it on chain so I can invest in the US markets or, do what I please with that. Maybe give me your thesis on this happening, and do you see kind of a convergence over time? We already see QR payments are becoming widely adopted pretty much everywhere. Do you see people converging onto like the US dollar or other reserve currencies rather than their fiat?
I think I have the contrarian take here, which is that not everyone wants US dollars. I don't want US dollars as a patriotic Brit. I want pounds and I want to spend in pounds. The problem with all these cards as well is like they're US denominated credit or debit cards. So when you're spending, you're getting an FX fee if you're living in a different country, which can be like 1% of your trade. Like I don't want to go to the shops and do a grocery shop $200 and have to spend another $2 just on the fees. So yeah, I think the actual trend that we're about to see, like US dollar has about like 97% market dominance right now in stable coins. And you have chains like Tempo and Base and I guess Solana as well, where we are starting to see the rise of non-USD denominated stable coins. That is more the area where we're looking to take the contrarian take and win.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this because even for me to go from USD to CAD, because I'm in Canada, is again, it's expensive. And then I have to route it through like an exchange, which they add their own kind of like 1% withdrawal fee.
Yeah.
So I would prefer, and now there's a CAD kind of stablecoin framework, is just to go straight into CAD and then our banks to be like, oh, well, this is regulated, boom, right in your account. So I don't understand what Dom's saying, and it does feel like this, but in reality, it's like your credit card is in your national currency. Or, when you go to the grocery store, they don't accept dollars. It's not practical.
But I think it does again depend on the market. Like lots of Latin American countries where the inflation rate is really high, it makes sense for you to want to hold the dollar over your own currency. So that is like a valid use case where I see it. But in more developed markets where your currency is stable, it doesn't make as much sense.
Yeah, it's fair actually.
Question from Crypto Jones. I'm not sure if you have a favorite non-USD stablecoin, but do you have one that's exciting you right now?
Ooh, good question.
So I would say the biggest one outside of the US dollar, I would say it's either BRLA is the Brazilian one. They have like there's so much going on. We were in Brazil for a month. There's so much going on there in the fintech space. Lots of companies working there. I see that market, that stablecoin market growing a lot. Euros is like it's good. The yields are terrible though. Like it's kind of it's even in some cases it's better to not be on chain in the euro. Pounds I am like personally interested in, and then Singapore dollars is another one. But that's a very regulated market. It's quite slow moving.
So let's now position liminals here, because you're trying to get ahead, I think, of all these stable coins that are, non-USD stable coins. What are you guys doing to position for this and kind of make, I guess, you guys the venue to where people are receiving them and whatnot?
I think it just needs to feel like you're not using stable coins. Like everyone in the world is used to these fintech products, and a lot of the UX at the moment is still there's still a lot of connecting wallets to sites and off-ramping from an exchange to a wallet and all this kind of stuff. Like this is a better technology. It's open, permissionless in many cases, and it's global. So this is like a global liquidity layer. Everyone can deposit into these protocols. Everyone can. I can easily use a DEX to swap from one currency to the other. So yeah, I think we just want to be ahead of the curve. Like a lot of these stable coins are just about to be launched. Like we're speaking with the teams who are in the process of like getting the approvals from the central banks and the regulators in those countries, and then when they hit the market, we want to be the first that deploys them. And it should just feel like I'm topping up my Revolut account. It shouldn't be any different.
So you made an interesting point there.
User experience, I think, like that's it. Just we're going so hard on the user experience.
Yeah, I mean, user experience is number one. But you made an interesting point there. I think you said like, just this is a better technology. It's better than what we have, and we're seeing the trading volume just grow significantly on stable coins. We're seeing the trading volume grow significantly on pre-stocks. We're seeing pre-IPO companies, private equity. We're seeing the stable coin, or we're seeing growth on just traditional equities coming on chain. When you see all this growth, how do you look at neobanks kind of just coming, I guess, also growing, coming to the surface here, and also growing with the trading volume we're seeing just increase across the board?
Yeah, I think it's a function of like how much the space is growing. There are loads of neobanks popping up, serving different markets, different use cases. I think, yeah, we've just hit, like, there was a new all-time high on like stablecoin TVL. It's processing more than Visa and MasterCard. Like, it's clearly the traction is taking off. It will be the settlement layer. Like, it is going to happen. Everything is going to be tokenized. So if that's the case, you need an app that is just stablecoins under the hood.
Yeah, and you mentioned stock trading coming very soon. That's correct? We
are gradually rolling out, yeah.
Right, and is that are you doing that through like the traditional broker sense, or is that through like these X stocks, etc.?
We've partnered with a company, so there's direct minting and redemption. The benefits of this is you actually have a claim on the underlying asset. Also, this is a growing market. Like, X stocks has quite good on-chain liquidity. Like, you can buy sell USDC for Nvidia on a decentralized exchange, but it is a lot of volume on Solana. We're EVM based in the product, and it's still the liquidity is not quite there. I think we're getting there, but once that is there, then the 24/7 trading is unlocked. Then you look at things like Hyperliquid, where you can buy. I can like buy Anthropic shares. The problem there is like it's a perpetual contract, so it's quite hard to package that up for a mainstream user and be like, yeah, you can buy Anthropic, but you got to pay like X% in a funding rate, which isn't the best user experience in my opinion. But I think we're getting there. Yeah, and the last time you were on, you mentioned the pump hackathon. You got through to the next steps. Did you end up winning that? And are you also mentioned you're in California and said something about, we'll talk about that later. I don't know if that's a later is now, but let me know. Yeah, that's probably a good segue. We signed an NDA with Pump Fund, so I'm not at liberty to discuss too much. All good. But I think all I can say is there wasn't the right alignment of we want to find partners in this space who are like very founder friendly for the stage that we're at. We didn't really find that in Pump Fund. But we're in California because we, out of 1,200 teams that applied to base batches, we are one of the 12 that got through. So we're in California for a demo day on May the 19th, where we'll be demoing the app and the product, the story, the vision, the mission to the base ecosystem fund and potentially Coinbase Ventures. So we're really excited about that. The base ecosystem has been incredibly helpful. They have this massive, oh yeah, there you go, massive partner network. Like all these kind of stable coins are on base. The projects that they're bringing in to help us are incredible. Like one of them is Venice. So this is like a private LLM, like verifiably private LLM. And if we have this AI agent that is helping you, advise you, execute for you, learning about you financially, like we need that LLM instance to be verifiably private so that the user's data is still secured. So all these different partners are great, and the base team have been incredibly helpful in introducing us to all of them.
Interesting. Yeah, Venice is a super fascinating protocol from top to bottom to token and everything. Are you guys, so what happens from this point forward? You're in this batch. Does this help you with funding? Like what happens if you win this? How does this work? Kind of break this down for me.
Yeah, so there's a potential 50K investment for a few teams at the end of it. And then naturally, they're very closely tied to Coinbase. Maybe there's a listing opportunity that we'll be angling for. And obviously Coinbase Ventures would be a great partner to have, and the base ecosystem fund. So that's kind of like what everyone's battling for.
how are you guys looking at fundraising? Are you seeking additional fundraising, or is this kind of the main focus right now? And yeah,
we've got plenty of runway. It is something that obviously we'll need to do as we want to grow. It's not like we don't need to do it right now. We're still pretty, we're making revenue. It's keeping us going. We've barely, like, I think the first time we spoke was just after our angel round. We've barely touched that cash, so we're still pretty liquid.
Okay. Good. And how are you guys looking at the token? Has there been any updates or changes to the little token that you guys have?
I think this is becoming clearer and clearer. We've got like a sort of 4-phased approach. The first step is to, like with Amex, for instance, you get Amex points, and the more you spend, you get these points. You can get airlines, you can get all this stuff. Revolut has a similar thing with Rev points. What we want to do is reward users for using Liminal. So some kind of reward system where this is the first phase that we're building out. You refer friends, you spend, you do your first deposit, you use the savings account, you buy your first stock, all these opportunities for you to earn Lil. From there, we can move into like membership tiers, where you get fee discounts, you get extra credits for the AI agent, all this kind of stuff. Then there'll be basically we need to create a pull of Lil out of the market. Like we want to take supply out so that the price goes up. And then we'll be redistributing those that is taken out back into the reward system to try and keep this like circular economy going. And then everything that we earn into the treasury will be redeploying as liquidity into aerodrome pools or the pump swap pool. Yeah.
Got you. Closing thoughts here on roadmap. What are you guys, I guess, looking forward to as a team? Where are you guys most focused? And obviously, congratulations on the base stuff. I'm sure that's top of mind.
Yeah, I think this socialized aspect of the app, like joint accounts, split bills, like doubling down on those kind of things, focusing on the type of customer who is like financially intertwined with other people, but may not necessarily be married. Like it could be someone you rent a house with. It could be a partner where you're like, you're about to have a kid, and you kind of need these financial products that help you manage your money together. That's where we're focusing most of our attention, and a lot of that means that the AI aspect needs to be geared towards making that as seamless as possible.
Love
it. Fascinating.
No, I have accounts joined with my wife, so go get joint accounts with your partner. There's no better way to be committed to someone than to be financially.
Okay, I'll bump up the Canadian dollar on the roadmap then.
Let's go. Josh will be endorsing Liminal sooner than you know it. So, well, Jack, we appreciate you coming on today. Great updates. We're going to keep an eye on you guys. I think it's very clear that neobanks will win in a big way. And we're seeing it with stablecoins, seeing it with on-chain equities. Crypto Jones has a question. Partnerships or integrations? Yeah, I guess we can touch on that real quick before you jump. Any partnerships or integrations worth noting?
So the DeFi lets you integrate with basically anything. That's the best thing about it. Where it's a mutual relationship, more of a mutual relationship, that's where we seek out the partnerships route instead. Right now, it's very easy to integrate. It's a lot easier to get partnerships when you have increased scale. So that's how we're thinking about that.
Yeah, keep growing. You guys are doing great, and good use of cash and whatnot, and doing all the right things. So good luck on base as well.
Thanks,
Jack.
All right,
talk soon,
Jack.
Talk soon.
All right. There we go. That was
interesting Solana to base maneuvers. I like it. Base is doing its thing. So
I guess with that, and I should have asked for clarity. So I guess their underlying technology is running on EVM, and then their token is on Solana. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
But you don't see too often. Can you pull up Lil by chance?
Yeah, I'll pull up real quick. Actually, chart looks really good for context. Sitting at 800K, pretty low liquidity, but yeah, I mean in general, chart looks pretty good. I'd say it's pretty bottomed out. Low volume. So I guess pretty much a lack of sellers or supply coming on this market. So
and I guess they'll have liquidity pools on both or some bridge or something. That I don't think we'll maybe ask next time Jack's on, but
well, I don't think they have a base liquidity pool yet.
No, he mentioned Aerodrome setting them up there, but we'll see.
All right. Well, nonetheless, it's time to jump. Let's get into Loyal. Quick little update from the squad here. Obviously, we've had them on before, so interested to see what kind of headways that they've made and anything new coming out of their end. So let's get Chris up here. Chris, how are we doing?
Yo, what's up, boys? How are we doing?
I love having Chris on the show because just you got a vibe, great energy, Chris, and you're always a legend. So
first of all, Josh, I'm so disappointed. What do you mean you're impressed by that move from Solana to Base? What is that? I did not expect that from you. Like, imagine this. I tune in for the show, and the first thing I hear is you hyping up move to Base Chain.
No. Hey, look. I am very pragmatic. I'm very pragmatic with crypto. You know, I think it is healthy as an industry that we see people winning and builders winning in multiple areas. I'm not by any means a maxi on one thing or another. I want to see everything be successful. But look, Ethereum needed something to succeed. They really did. ETH before Base kind of popped off here, there was nothing happening on Ethereum, like nothing on mainnet. DeFi is like a big dinosaur that's, maybe under threat by AI or not. And so finally Base had something kind of feel fresh and new. And it's like, it's good for the ecosystem. And then what people do is they find this Ethereum thing. They're like, oh, Base is cool. But, oh, what's this Solana thing? Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to go download Loyal and fund a wallet.
So, I believe that our great civilization back in the day was built on a few men coming together and deciding that some ideas are worth dying for. And for me, that idea is Solana. And even if there is one user, I'm dying on this hill. I invested too much of my autism into understanding the inner workings of this blockchain and how to build efficient smart contracts and like how to do this entire thing. Like I it's like people from New York. Like they're terrified that they're not going to survive anywhere else. I think I'm not going to survive anywhere else. At this point, I'm too far gone.
You and me both, Chris. I agree.
I see Solana, and I don't think there's any other future. It's so fast. It's so much better. It's got the volumes. It's got the traders. Like this is where everyone is.
I had to use MetaMask the other day for the first time in a while, and I was like, get my Phantom back. I don't know this. I don't understand this app. But
I think that also this is our new landing. How sexy is that? How sexy.
Dude, your branding is crazy right now. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Thank you. So the idea is the following. We're shipping two things. We're shipping out in two phases. The first phase is the privacy stack, just because we want to kind of build out wallet and on-chain experiences from the first principles, and we realized that privacy should be built in by default. So today we're shipping our app to the seeker, our web app, and our extension, and we're getting APY on private dollar because we realized that kind of keeping your assets private makes no sense, because we are also used to kind of making money on chain. Like if your money is not in some Camino vault, if it's not in some strategy, if your money is idle, you're kind of losing money. So we realized that, and we realized that the only way to attract capital would be providing some kind of APY on top of our privacy. So we built APY on private dollar. Shipped it. It works. We tested it with our users. We shipped gasless private transactions to any wallet, to any Telegram handle, which is also kind of cool. And next week we are shipping this new kind of really exciting thing. We are shipping a way to give granular permissions to on-chain operations to your agents. So the idea here is that you need a way to trust the software, like some third-party software with your finances without giving up everything. So if you played with Hermes, if you played with OpenFlow, if you played with all of those frameworks, the problem there is that either you trust your wallet with private key in someone's database, so you don't have the private key, or you have to host the private key within the VM, and then it's like the entire different thing where you're exposed to prompt injections, and then suddenly it lost the private key, and now you lost all your money. It's just such a massive pain. So we figured out how to give agents permissions to do things with your money in non-custodial way. So you don't have to give up any private keys. It's all done through smart contracts, and smart accounts. And it's important because you mentioned MetaMask, you mentioned Base, and you mentioned EVM thing. So one thing that they have advantage over Solana right now is that the ecosystem for smart account wallets is 10 times larger and 10 times more robust, because they have Coinbase that drives smart accounts with passkeys. They have MetaMask with different permissions with smart accounts underneath. And most of the Solana wallets right now, they are like regular private key wallets. You have Soulflare based on private keys. You have Phantom, you have Backpack, and they all use like this private key standard. And because of this market setup, smart accounts, they're not developed enough on Solana, and we're missing a lot on the opportunities to give agents very narrow scope of permissions to work with your finances. That was my monologue on.
No, that was great. And I gotta say, congratulations, Chris, on launching today on Seeker. This is a great moment, and want to congratulate you. I know where we started on our first stream, it was like private LLM stuff. And then our second stream, you really got into like, how do we use Telegram to kind of like, be actionable, which is like sending funds to, either contractors or people in your TG list. Now you're launching an app on Seeker, and you're talking a lot about privacy and allowing agents to securely use money. You've evolved in this product roadmap to this point.
I can even explain the reasoning here. So we launched through MetaDAO, right? And one of the core theses that resonated around having a coin and having like ownership coin is that we have an active community. We have an active community that is open to testing, to giving us active feedback, and kind of helping us build it together. So when we shipped our features to paying contractors, to private payments, Telegram payments, we received the feedback from the community, hey, can we do something about APY? So I have more incentives to use shielded assets. Like, hey, can we explore this direction? Can we play with this? And through this active conversation with the market and with our holders, we were able to really iterate fast, get fast feedback, and ensure that we're moving in the right direction. Because I'll explain some cool things that smart accounts really unlock, and I think you'll really vibe with that. So one of the things that we're shipping next week with smart account automations is automatic swap into Camino positions. So one of the things that annoy me the most is that a lot of centralized exchanges, they have automatic yield positions. So as long as you're holding USDC, they will send some APY your way. Like, think about Coinbase, think about Bybit, think about all those exchanges. If you have if you hold USDC within wallet, it's always such a pain in the ass to remember to swap into Camino Vault to get APY. It's just like, it's such a waste of time.
Sometimes there's a 1 day to like withdrawal time. It's
Yes. So we, in smart accounts, we built a simple automation that allows you to, it makes a workflow within your smart account that automatically swaps from your USDC into Camino as long as you have more than X USDC in your wallet. And you can set up the amount yourself, and it's all automatic, and you don't have to think about it at all. So like, for example, I get paid in stable coins. I hate opening my wallet and thinking, oh, I forgot to swap the new salary into like a BY vault on Camino. Oh, I forgot to rebalance my this. And this is kind of a way to do this. On top of that, like, and this is like the most insane thing. The next steps, it's going to be the week after the next one. We're shipping DCA and limit orders completely in your wallet, not like through Jupiter, but actually permissionless DCA and limit orders that you can interact or use for trading or investing. So that's kind of insane as well. Very excited about that.
Wow.
And
so you're building a wallet that traditionally you would use third-party services like Jupiter's DCA programs, or like you would stake it on a DeFi protocol and it would start earning yield. But like you mentioned, you have to. But it's smart,
it's like it kind of automates that, because like, if you think about a lot of your on-chain stuff, it's just so annoying. Like always the endless stream of signatures, the endless streams of pop-ups and weird UI elements. It's just so annoying. It's like I just want to have an easy way to manage my money without like being overwhelmed by someone's poor design choices. Like, you know, it's like if you ever opened Meteor, I love Meteor, but if you've ever opened Radium, it's like all the list of these vaults and markets is just like, I don't need it. I just like, I want to do simple things, and I want to do it in the nice interface. And on top of that, we're also shipping CLI thing that you can help you perform any on-chain transactions within OpenClaw, Hermes, Claude, and Codex. So essentially, since smart accounts support multiple signatures, you can have your CLI agent as suggester of transactions. So everything is getting verified within the web app. Everything is getting verified either from your phone or through the web app, but the transaction suggestion comes from your whatever agent you're running. This allows you to kind of deduplicate security, because you don't worry as much about the security of private key within the agent, because it only has proposal access to your vault. So like to your kind of multi-sig vault. So you can always double check everything that it's doing, and that's kind of cool as well. So like our vision is one smart account vault with multiple different clients and multiple different automations that are handling finances for you. We already have Google Chrome extension. We already shipped to Seeker. We'll ship to iOS and Android, hopefully within the next month or so. Depends on the review process from Apple. It's just annoying. And we are shipping CLI hopefully next week as well. And we are scaling from there, because I believe that this would allow us, like our smart account setup would allow us to take a lot of user flow from guys like Phantom, from Soulflare, from Backpack, just because they're so old school, you know. Like you don't as AI goes through our society, we will stop seeing this traditional dApp-centric wallets be useful, because most of the transactions will be done through the agents, and this is kind of our attempt to address that future vision, that future growth. So yeah.
So Chris, I love the vision. I love the UI. It looks great right now. I'd love for that little eye to move around and follow my mouse when it's on the screen. But can you talk to us a bit about traction and then stickiness? It's a question we just asked with Liminal as well. But how are you seeing traction growth month on month, week on week?
Yes.
And how is the customer? Are they sticky?
Yes. So they are. Right now we have we've grown from January to 1,500 monthly active users. We have around 30%, like from 20 to 30% week over week growth. We see the around the similar week-over-week growth in terms of TVL. Since we serve private transactions, we have no idea about the volume within the private mirror because it's private, we don't have access to that.
Yeah.
In terms of stickiness, depends on. It's very interesting. It's very interesting because we're serving several products, so it was an interesting exploration for us. So the most sticky users are among the extension. So based on what we see, if the user installs an extension, it stays with them for a very long time. They don't tend to remove that. We see the crazy reactivations on 10-15% retention rate on extension on mini app. Telegram and Telegram communities. Right now we're shipping updated web app. Right now we're shipping Seeker, so we're kind of excited to see how it goes there. But overall, I think the pattern that if the user switches to your wallet, they stay with that wallet forever. I think that pattern holds, and I think that we have this very unfair wedge against other wallet privacy solutions because we're building full stack, so we can offer an edge to the users that others just cannot.
So
I feel
sorry, go ahead, Dom. Yeah,
I feel like wallets kind of have this legacy complex. You have your Phantom, you have your Backpack, you have your Soulflare. It's like the big three, the trifecta. How do you break into that, right? Because people see what they see, they're used to it, they know the branding, they know the product.
They feel secure in it.
They feel secure, even maybe if it lacks in innovation, and they kind of have the ability to lack a little bit just because of their market share. How do you break into something like this and kind of break down the legacy wallet companies?
So, do you know the main source of disruptions in startups, the main logic of disruptions in startups, is that incoming startups are doing something that the incumbents, that the dominating forces within the market do not bother to do. And as startups accelerate, it becomes too late for big players to do something. I believe that right now, especially with our CLI, especially with our new, the way we think about permissions, the way to cede authority over some part of your finances or whitelist smart contracts to interact with, I think that this is something that will capture nerds that need it right now, that capture LLM guys, that capture AI guys. And big wallets will not bother to implement smart account logics right now. But as we scale, as we accumulate, as we capture, as we are able to catch the AI wave, I think that our takeoff speed will be too high for Phantom or Soulflare or Backpack to really catch up with us, because that would require a fundamental re-architecture of the way those wallets work right now.
And there's also this dynamic where the risk reward from them from a security standpoint might not check out. So, they don't want to lose vast swaths of their customer base by experimenting. And where you kind of have an edge here is that you can be experimental. People kind of know that I'm getting something forward-looking, innovative. And
also we have another approach that allows us to bite a different bullet. We can bite the bullet and say, we don't want to compete for regular wallet users. We want to address funds. We want to address decentralized organizations. We want to address people dealing with stable coins, because our rule sets allow them to independently verify that only they have full authority over their money. So that means offering automations to all the neobanks that are working on Solana. It means that offering some automations to all the organizations that work within. Everything is built within the Squads framework. So we are compatible with everyone who runs on top of Squads. And that is, I think they have $20 billion locked within their smart contract, within their vaults. So we can tap into that audience as well. So I think that we are set up for great success.
So you guys have 1,500 active users, about 20% week-on-week growth, and this extension has been a real source of stickiness for you guys. You're expanding to the Seeker. I want to ask a bit about this. We talked about good retention. When it comes to Seeker, how big is that user base? Like, what kind of audience are you tapping into? Are these guys generally loyal to the apps on the Seeker? I hear a lot of people do these Seeker integrations, but I guess I'm not convinced the Seeker has a big enough community. But maybe I'm just ill-informed. Can you kind of walk me through, I guess, the benefits of exploring Seeker?
For us, I'll put it this way. Seeker has around, like, the new phone has around 100K users in total. These users are someone who actively chose to make Solana a daily part of their lives. They made Seeker is not the best phone, so they clearly made a sacrifice. And we are shipping something for people who drive Solana every day, who use Solana daily. We're shipping automations for them, privacy features for them. And I think in terms of early adopters, people who are ready to test the mobile features, test the app, provide feedback, log in some of their funds with us. Yes, I think that Seeker is a great platform. You can reference Sanctum launch 2 months ago. Sanctum obviously has a bigger brand name, so we need to take into account that. But I think they got 13K users and over 1 million logged in the Solana liquid staking protocol. So that's a good reference point for us. We think that if we're able to scale up our community, if we're able to get high exposure, deeper feedback, I think that's worth it. And this would allow us to really polish the app for Android and iOS releases as well, because we're using the same code base.
Yeah, I think when I think of Seeker, and why it can be powerful is, leveraging this crypto native community who are Solana power users. And I think what it does is, if you can make a meaningful impact in Seeker, well, you kind of have a really good built-in core community that's going to champion the product. And I think, once you have that, the ball can really get rolling. So I do think it's a good move. Don't want to come across as like a Seeker hater or anything. I do actually have, the original Solana phone, and I never used it.
I bought Solana, like the new Seeker, for 500, and the next day they announced discounts, and I was able to buy it for 250.
All right,
50% discounts.
I have a Seeker pain story too. So I was at when I was at where was Breakpoint, there was like the free Seeker phone thing, the giveaway. You walk up and spin, and I waited like 30-40 minutes in line to spin this stinking thing, and the guy in front of me who butted me, he went up, spun it, and won the Seeker phone right in front of me. The guy in front of me.
I think that was my co-founder, because my co-founder won Seeker phone at the Breakpoint.
Oh, really? Like, dude, and he was pretty stoked.
Like my co-founder won. Two of my co-founders went to Breakpoint, and they won Seeker phone.
Where is he? South American by chance?
No, he's like with the beards. He's like very white and very bearded.
Okay, these guys were from either like Super Team Brazil or something like that. I think they had.
There was a lot of winners, I think, though, at that pop up.
They gave out a lot of fun.
There was like 1 in 20 spins, but I mean, like, Max Payne, man, I was so pained by that. Dom, I don't know if you have any other product questions. I do have some questions from our last stream that I want to touch into.
Maybe. I just want to ask about how the experience with MetaDAO has been so far. Your company is a Futarchy governed company, right? So you have a lot of opinions from a lot of people, and things get voted on. Recently, we saw a proposal for buybacks, or not recently, I guess it's been a couple months at this point, pass. Can you just talk to me and talk me through, I guess, how the experience has been with having a bunch of people kind of, make and suggest decisions, and how the buybacks have been and all that stuff?
Well, we don't have fragile egos, so we love the feedback. I think that it builds the community, and as long as you're comfortable getting called a retard, like every once in a while, sometimes every day, you're actually good. It's like, because the feedback is valuable, because whether you have long-term like sticky capital whales, and buybacks were useful because we were able to kind of retain long-term holders and get in touch with all of our whales. So that was incredibly helpful. But even if you have short-term holders, by what they say and the way they act within your communities and with you, it says a lot about how those type of people think about your token or engage with your brand. And whether you want to admit it or not, you have to deal with those communities. You have to kind of position yourself for those communities. And that is still a source of good feedback. Like, okay, if like, for example, for 5 days in a row, people come into the group chat with the same question, maybe we don't address that question correctly. Maybe we can update somewhere in the docs. Maybe we can update someone on lending to address that question. And that was a source usually of great growth. So far, I love having a token. It's very stressful. But the community it builds and the result it gives you in terms of product growth and just sheer marketing, I think it's worth it.
Josh, you can get into maybe some of those questions that you had just mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, I think doubling down on kind of the token, personally, I think it's very undervalued. Just my point of view. And you kind of touched on this buybacks. There, to get specific, there was, I believe in the show notes, a $3 million proposal from last time.
1.5 will pass. Yes.
Yeah, 1.5. Do you mind just giving an update on that? How much of that was allocated? How many tokens did you guys soak off the market, etc.?
We soaked up the full 1.5 million buyback. It was a very good decision because it allowed us to get a lot of tokens from free circulation. Then the remaining is among our whales. That gives us a better control over future proposals. It gives us a better kind of community instruments, and that gives us a way to do the next raise through OTC.
Yeah, and so you did that. You've completed that now. Your next raise, are you thinking that is going to happen in like the next 6 months, or what's kind of your
around fall? I would be thinking around fall, because right now we have interest from some smaller buyers, smaller funds for 200, 300, 400K, but I don't think that we'll be raising less than 7.5, 10 mil. So we'll accumulate the demand. We'll have a couple of very strong leads. My team forbids me from naming them just yet, but I think that we should see another round in around, say, October, maybe. October.
Okay, so to double tap into this, you're thinking of raising, $7.5 to $10 million. Was that? So you bought back 1.5 million of the tokens. How do you raise with that 1.5 million and bought back tokens? How do you raise 7 to 10 million? Does the token price have to appreciate for those tokens, or are there
we can mint more tokens? It's like it all comes back in the end. It all comes back to our community and to our future key. It's like that's what makes it easier, because usually you need to think, is it a fair price? Is it a fair valuation?
Yeah.
Like we assembled the round, we come to our community like, hey, that's the number of tokens we are going to mint. That's the price we are going to give to the investors. These are the multi-sigs. If this proposal passes, that's what's going to happen. Yes, no, and we're ready to go. It makes things really easy.
Similar to traditional markets, when you have, you incur new investors, you can choose to dilute the other ones for the betterment of the company. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. And we have some OTC, and like we can structure deals in different ways. Like we can put new investors behind some time lock or some performance benchmarks in terms of token. Like there's large variety. We can do whatever we want, really, like whatever we want, what that community lets us do with token, like in terms of smart contracts, the setup. So we can really play with it.
I have to ask this because, you know, I'm looking at your chart here, 860K circulated. I'm like, man, this is a great product, you know, great ecosystem. You're a great builder, good team. How is this only $5 in volume? What, like,
it's good. No. Like, because
how do you change this? I guess is my, you know, where do we get from here we are today to like, you know, this is like the next big product thing, you know, people are buying it, selling it, trading it, like the early MetaDAO days, which were a lot of fun, by the way. I used to love those early MetaDAO days.
Because it's all about the markets, right? Right now, that's why I stress the whales. Like if you look at the price of the token, it's like around the same price point, because we have like all our holders, like top holders, they're all whales. Like we're in touch with. They're sticky capital. They don't need to sell more. Sometimes they buy more, and that allows us to focus on building. And once the overall market conditions are better, we'll be able to leverage our great product. We'll be able to leverage our great distribution to push the token higher. But right now, it'll be fighting an uphill battle. Like we don't need to waste research. Like because you can do only so many things really well at once, and you can either chase capital, and in this market, it's an uphill battle. You can, but there's like no real point.
I like to say pushing a rope.
Terrified. Yeah. Or you can build product, you can accumulate users, and then when the conditions change, you can leverage all of that to really push the price.
No, great answer, by the way. Sorry, Dom, go ahead.
Yeah. So Chris, I mean, you mentioned that, you know, how these traditional companies get disrupted by startups, and, you know, they're pushed for innovation, and then it's too late by the time traditional companies catch up. It also comes down to like customer acquisition, you know, and we see Soulflare, for example, they're doing big events. They have a ton of advertisements. We see Phantom, you know, sponsors Thread Guy. They have all their advertisements out there. What is the cost of acquiring a customer, and how do you compete with people that just have, you know, so much money to throw at advertisements and acquiring customers?
Because they're competing for the same type of customer and for the same type of use case. Soulflare is for holding, and like it's one use case app. I think because we're having like all these different automations use cases, and we can approach users through their OpenClaw and Hermes and like Claude Code and Codex, like through the apps, like AI apps that they're using, because we have CLI integrations, because we are non-custodian like that, we can capture the users that they cannot capture, because like they're aiming, like they're making money from swaps. They're aiming for a very particular type of user. Like that's why they're sponsoring Thread Guy, because they're aiming for the trenches. We don't aim for trenches. We don't care. Like we do care, but we don't care as much. Where we care about more calm users, about more serious users, about users with higher assets under management. Like we care about those users. We don't need to chase the swap volume.
So really targeting a different customer completely.
Yeah.
Makes sense. We got to wrap here, but Chris, I would love to hear maybe just roadmap, closing thoughts, anything you want to leave the people with, the followers, supporters, loyal fans, loyalists.
And if you could add one thing on, is just a quick note on like security, how you get that trust with those users to have their higher assets on Loyal versus, you know, Phantom, etc.
Yes. So in terms of security, we use smart accounts. We used policies that have been audited. We are using, like, we're partnering with squads. Like everything is built in tight communication with the team. Squads have been the leading multi-sig within Solana. I mentioned everywhere. I have been a big fanboy of squads ever since 2021 when they won their first hackathon. Like I've been following the team forever, and it's such an honor and privilege to build on top of the primitives that they implemented, and we're in tight communication with the team. In terms of the roadmap, right now, today we are shipping for the Seeker. we release privacy features this week. Next week, we're shipping smart accounts with the first automation swap to earn. The week after that, we have DCA orders and limit orders. We'll update the roadmap on the website as well. We expect to ship iOS, Android apps within the next month. And we will also do something about private swaps. So like our idea with automations is that we can ship really cheap, really free tools to automate your finances, and we can play a bit of a kingmaker with private swaps with our kind of infrastructure. So route requests, efficient requests when it makes sense through us, so we can, make some money.
Awesome, Chris.
There you go.
We have to wrap it there. Thank you so much. And actually, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give this a go. I'm gonna download and try Loyal. This is looking really compelling, Chris.
Yeah, dude. It's like we are like on phase 2. Like when we ship automations, like literally next week, next Thursday. Like I'll ping you. There's going to be new design on the extension as well. And like it's actually like we are very proud of like automations because. Swap to community positions and like it just works. It's like because you don't think how annoying like all the small things you do on chain is. Like if you need to send money to Dom, you need to get from your vault on Camino.
Dude,
then
it's the worst.
Remember his wallet. Send it's like we can like,
make sure you have gas.
Yeah, first I hate sending money to Dom. No, I'm kidding.
Send first off, Josh just wishes he could cut that completely.
Yeah, let's cut that expense right out, extend the runway, nicely. But no, I'm kidding.
But no, dude, it's like it's actually like something that we really want, and I think that users will really.
All right, Chris, we got to wrap it there. Thank you so much, and we'll give Loyal a go.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep, chat's always open, Chris. Talk soon. There we go.
We got to get right into the GOAT, the actual GOAT of.
Can we do 1 minute recap, Josh? You
1
said
minute recap.
You're very compelled about Loyal. Can you just give us a quick what made you so compelled from that conversation and previous conversations we've had?
I mean, it's just the lack of innovation, and I hate like signing transactions and like going and getting the address from Telegram and then sending it to I'd just rather put in your Telegram account and send you funds. And I like the automated nature of like it's already staked and you don't have to do anything. I'm really keen to see if this is true. I want to know if it's true.
Okay.
Branding I think is super clean. So
branding's great.
I want to be a token holder. 800K market cap. I want to be a token holder of that. I think there's potentially some upside here. So.
Yep. Well, maybe in the next couple months, Loyal blows up. We see right where that gem is a glowing dog head for the Loyal logo, and we're helping represent them. So nonetheless, our GOAT, the man himself, releasing a cloud update, living his best life. Sometimes he's surfing, the rest of the time he's building out products we all use and love today. So Lex, welcome back to the show.
What's up, dude? How you guys doing?
We're doing good. It's always a good day when we get to see you come on with your shirt unbuttoned. Got some good stuff. Let's go.
Shirt on for this. I was stood there. My lady is in India for a month doing a sort of Ayurvedic retreat, and so the kitchen, living room.
She totally is, bro. You're on a mountaintop, like birds are flapping around you. Your lady's in India, getting seeing the future, and look at that view. My gosh, you are like the world is jealous.
That's the sea over there.
Oh,
it's not bad.
It's not so bad.
I've converted my the kitchen. We've got like a breakfast bar, and I've converted it into my stand-up office. And so behind me, I've got a screen, and I literally just like walk around the room and make decisions. I come back, and it's not bad. I like barely sit down anymore. It's kind of killing my back, though. I have to say, chairs are great. I don't think they're not overrated. They're very useful.
But I'm kind of jealous, Lex, because I sit in this chair all day and I feel like my posture and back are terrible for it. So
I've just been standing for 2 hours. I use a standing desk when I stream. It always do
wall squats. That'll be the challenge for the rest of this stream. You have to do wall squats. Yeah. We're excited to get into it. You don't have to wear a shirt for our stream. We're pretty relaxed. You'd be the first, but
I gotta ask, what's the around the neck? Like, what is
it's
that?
A polo tie.
Okay.
I suppose, like in the olden days, the sort of Americano people would put it underneath. It's a tie,
Right.
But it's like a little kind of yeehaw. But I just
Okay,
like
so then the hat, the cowboy hat would go on, and
conceptually and philosophically, I like the cowboy hats, but practically
Okay.
on me, I can't have something on my head. It's like headphones or a hood or sunglasses. I
Yeah.
just feel sort of out of it.
I also got to ask, Glitter Cowboy is your handle. Where did the inspo for that come around?
That's the name of the record label that I started like 6-7 years ago. And to come up with the name, I just took a sheet of paper and I wrote like 1,000 words on it, all words that I liked. And there was like textured and dusty and fuzzy and glittery and deserty and reverential. And obviously reverential cowboy doesn't have quite the same ring to it, but
It's
I was
like
like,
when you. It's like when you're creating a generated account for like Xbox or something. It just gives you two words and puts them together.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Well, the people, although we could sit here all day and just, I don't know, talk about bullshit. I suppose the people want to hear a little bit about what's going on with you and GSD. Okay. So first, let's set the stage here, because about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I was shocked. I see on my timeline, Lex revolting against the system. Bags app is terrible at communicating. If we leave, where should we go? What do you guys think about other chains? They got on a call with you. They must have greased some wheels or something because you're happy with them again. So what's going on with that?
I think when you actually do get to communicate with people and you do realize that you are on the same wavelength, I'm often quite bad at communication, and it's something that I think we could all probably get a lot better at. And I think once the channel of communication was open, and I felt as though there was a bit more kind of reciprocation in sort of what we were able to come together to share, I like Bags. Yeah. Obviously I'm not really a kind of crypto guy. I'm accidentally a crypto person. And I think I know faces and names of people who I can sort of trust, rather than all of these random faceless, nameless Twitter account telling me to do things, or they'll cut my balls off kind of shit.
Yeah. Well, also, like, I do find that weird. Like, I mean, the Bags team is docs, Finn is docs, but it's like, we need more forward-facing founders in crypto. Like, I get the cyberpunk, origination here, but it's like, if you guys are running a business, let's communicate well. Let's put our face out there. Like, let's do this thing right, So, okay, so we had that conversation.
They have been much, much better.
What like, I mean, what was there anything specifically said that was like, okay, we really align on this, and like, you got my loyalty? Anything specifically said in that conversation?
Not off the top of my head that I think is worth sharing. There's also nothing like private and secret and hidden, but just in terms of feeling as though there was a proper two-way open form of communication, and being able to like get questions answered, get support on things, I think is crucial, particularly in this space. Like, particularly if your whole thing is like onboarding founders, you gotta communicate with them.
Yeah.
No, this is totally, as someone who is a sales executive and really cared about my clients dearly and paid attention to every single thing about their business, it's a no-brainer. And I get you're busy, and I get like these products are busy, but you can't have a crypto mindset of just my product is so good that, everyone's just going to be there. It's like, no, it's competitive. There's other platforms that are trying to attract, capital, attention, builders, etc. And it's good to have like an open communication with your teams and make sure your response times are sub 24 hours even. So,
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I do appreciate that take, because I saw it on the timeline. I was a little surprised, but I wanted to get kind of the inside vibes. And sorry, Dom, you can continue with your GSD cloud stuff.
And you wouldn't be the first. You wouldn't be the first to leave Bags. I think probably for this exact same situation. Did you guys talk about the hackathon at all? Obviously, GSD is, in contention to being one of these hackathon winners for Bags. I think everyone probably points to it as like a very obvious winner. Did that come up at all? I think there's been little communication around that. What's going on with the hackathon? Is it still on?
It is still on. I think the end of demo day is today. So everybody's deadline to actually share their video and share a little bit more about what the project is that they've been building is today. In true me fashion, I take that to mean I will do it today, not I would do it yesterday. But I'm going to be obviously talking with you guys today and sharing really for the first time what this actually is. And then I'm going to be posting my video later today, which I'm just very, very excited to share.
Awesome. We'll respect your time on this too.
Yep, we will. Have you considered, instead of doing a demo at all, just doing a DJ set, just taking off your shirt and just doing a DJ set and seeing how that goes over?
Yeah. And just like the occasional little like get on the microphone and mention a feature or something. Yep. But it's about
Cloud's coming. Cloud's coming. Yeah. Okay. Tell us about these features. Less than 20. This was about 20 hours ago. Less than 24 hours till we unveil what we've been cooking behind the scenes for the last 2 months. GSD Cloud, April 28th. This has been something you've talked about on the show. This has been something for months. You've been trying to figure out ways to monetize. It's been cooking. Give us the lore here.
Okay, let's just get back to the very beginning. What was GSD? GSD was a system of markdown prompts that allowed Claude Code to do a better job at creating software. Then through community efforts, people started doing it in Codex and in anti-gravity and in, every possible kind of port, there was one. I then tried to make something brand new, GSD 2, which was very, very cool, but we were bound by one particular issue at sort of the kind of stuck fuck shit up in those early days, which was Anthropic, the creators of Claude, came out and they said we're just going to ban anybody from using their OAuth tokens. And so we had some people getting banned from using it. And to the credit of the community who've been helping build this, Jeremy at Flux Labs has just kept working on that thing round the clock. I think he's just kept working on it. So I put my focus back onto GSD 1 and the GSD Cloud. GSD 2 is a separate Pi version. So anyway, this fusion came about where I was like, okay, well, what could I monetize for? What can I monetize? I can't charge people for text files, and if I did, it would be a pretty poor taste to start doing that for something that is open source. And I think maybe we spoke about this on a show last time I was on. I also can't offer compute. I can't give somebody a plan that gives them X amount of tokens, because Anthropic and OpenAI and Google, they're all burning so much capital in trying to capture that market that I could not compete with that, not being a multi-billion-dollar company with hundreds of billions of dollars just being thrown at it. So that wasn't off on the table either. So it's like, okay, well, I can't charge for just the simplest thing, and I also can't provide an alternative to, say, Claude Code. And Anthropic then came out and obviously banned everybody from doing OAuth. So it was like, okay, well, what the fuck do we do? This led to a lot of people, myself included, getting very excited about seeing, okay, well, from the terms of service of Anthropic and Google and OpenAI, what can we do then? What is possible? And the thing that seemed to be apparent in most of these tools is that so long as you're not providing somebody a platform to log into their account, so long as you're not doing anything in regards to getting somebody to touch their tokens, should we say, you're kind of okay. And so what GSD Cloud is it's scratching the itch that I have had for ages, which is I like to use Codex. I like to use ChatGPT. I like to use a whole variety of things. And it's kind of annoying that I have to jump back and forth between different tools. And also, I can't easily work on my local home computer on the go, on my phone or another computer. So maybe, am I able to share my screen? Because maybe I can give you guys just a real simple demo of how this kind of thing would work.
We would love it.
Let's try this out then. Does this work? Share screen. Allow. Okay, so window. Okay, let's check this. Can you see this screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Cool. So one of the things I'd wanted to demo today, I was going to change my Wi-Fi account so that I could show that we're not on the same account. One's on my phone, but I'm not going to be able to do that or it will cut out the chat here. But basically, I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to sign in with my little account here and redirecting. Very nice. Okay, so here is a blank account, right? This is the first time you sign in to GSD Cloud. And the first thing it asks you to do is to install the daemon. Now, this is the fucking crux of why this thing is so cool, is GSD Cloud talks to a long-running server on your local computer, whichever computer you have. You can have multiple machines. You can have some VPS cloud servers. You can have multiple Macs. You can have just a long-running server at home. And you can run this on as many computers as you want. And this one website on any device can talk to and use Claude, Codex, whatever, for you in a way that does not break terms of service. So anyway, I don't really need to actually install this, but just for the sake of showing you, I'm not going to install this on the same computer I'm talking to you guys on. I have sat there a Mac Mini. Okay, so
Oh,
there we go.
there it is, right there in the
There it
center of
is,
the table.
guys.
I tried to drag him as far as I could, but that's
No, you're just trying to flex. We get it, bro. You have a Mac Mini, okay? We get it.
Okay, so I'm going to take this command. I've also got on Mac, there's this wonderful thing called screen sharing. I'm sure you know it. Wait, why is it not? Am I still sharing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're good.
But it's not showing the screen sharing thing, is it?
It's just showing the install GSD cloud.
Let's see if I click this button. Actually, maybe I need to stop sharing and share the whole thing. So we'll do this entire screen. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Here we go. So share full screen.
Now remember, you're at the mercy here of your MacBook, not bugging out and exposing everything.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm here. I'm going to open up my screen sharing thing. This is how I connect. This is how I use my Mac Mini from my Mac laptop. So I'll connect here, and here we go. This is my Mac Mini over there. Nice. Let's just log in. Everybody needs to know my password. Okay, cool. So here we are on here. I'm just going to open up Terminal on here, and just to make it real nice and clear, I'm going to zoom in, and I'm just going to copy and paste in the command, which is this. And you'll see that this is now going to install the GSD Cloud daemon. Very nice. Shouldn't take too long. Nice. We've actually had an update since I last updated it, which is pretty good. Okay, now it's updated. Nice. Let's go back here. We're ready. Next. So now I'm going to take this code and I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to log in. Now let's very quickly go back because you're going to see, boom, pairing has completed.
Wow.
So now the other Mac is now connected to GSD Cloud. I can click done. Very nice. There is my one Mac. As a nice way to just test this, I'm going to go to the terminal view here on the left, and I'm got here my Mac Mini. And just to prove that this is that Mac Mini, I'm going to do a terminal command. I'm going to say hello to the MCG Live team. And let's hope that we can hear this. Okay, you ready?
Hello to the MCG Live team.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So the MCG
Whoa!
So this, okay, that may not seem that crazy because you're like, okay, sure, people can SSH into terminals and you can do all of that kind of shit easily already by pairing things. But the difference here is it's a persistent WebSocket. It's instant, back and forth. You could be on a mobile at the same time as the cloud app on your phone, on an iPad, and every single thing you do shows up on everything all at the same time. Very nice. Okay, cool. So let's actually look at something of interest. Right now, we have no project set up. So let's just go back to this screen sharing thing, and I'm going to make a folder on my desktop. Let's just do it the OG way. I'm going to do here, and we'll call this MCG Live. Very nice. I'm going to go back here, and now I want to create a new project. I don't have any projects initiated yet. I'm going to select my machine. Again, I can have as many as I wanted. I'm going to go here to Lex's Mac Mini, and then we're going to connect, and I'm going to go to, you can see here, it's pulling in my entire file system. We'll do MCG. What was it called?
Last time Dom did this, he doxed his prom photos. If you remember that, Lex.
Let me just refresh.
Maybe you don't remember that, but that was the funniest
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen.
I do remember that. Okay, so now we're connected. I'm going to go here. Let's do desktop, MCG Live. Boom. And let's open this guy up. Now we have this as a project. So I could build something in here, and whatever it is I want to do, you know, I have access to all of the GSD skills here. So I could do GSD new project, everything that everybody already knows. You can run that, but we don't want to go and build a whole thing right now. We don't have time. So I just want to show you some of the cool things. Use ask user question. In fact, even better, I want to like one of the core things, obviously, about GSD is how much it asks you for your opinion on the things that you want to really instill your taste. So one of the core things is, regardless of what model we're using, whether we're using Opus or we're using GPT 5.5 through the Codex app server, everything gets routed through Pi. So we're still using the native binaries. We're not breaking terms of service, but we're doing it through Pi, which means that we can expose specific tools to all of the apps. So everything is unified. The only difference is which brain is powering the interface. And what's nice as well is I could just go in here and I'm going to go to my settings, a few things here. And I'm just going to actually change this, and I'm going to say, always use ask user question. You wouldn't do this whenever I say anything. Cool. So we'll just do that. I'm just going to add this now. This is like an appended instruction that does not exist in your Claude.md or your agents.md. This is any time that you are using GSD Cloud and you want every one of your agents to behave in a certain way or do a specific thing, you can put that here. And this is account level. So it doesn't matter what I do, where I do it, I'm now able to force behavior. So I could just go in here and I'm going to say hello, and we'll just let that go. Now, of course, it says here starting working. If I were to actually go over to the screen sharing here, obviously nothing is happening yet. Cool. If I go back to here, though, you can see that it's already now launching this Ask User Question tool. And look at that. Look how beautiful this interface is. So this is how you're going to be a lot of the time working, is you're going to get these really lovely questions. And this was one of the core things that, like, I think so many people were optimizing for all different things in the AI space. I think the two things that are most important are, number one, how good it feels to converse in this kind of, I'm not working right now, I need your opinion way, which is why I put a lot of time and energy into just making this feel really good, particularly when you do batched questions. But for example, okay, how can I help you today? Ask a general question, but I can always add more info. So I could say, ask me a question in Creole, or we'll just say in Creole. Nice. We'll send that. You can see that you've always got reference of what questions you've answered. You can always go back. You can also go in and open up any tool call to see the full response of what it's actually doing on your computer. But obviously everything is very nicely kind of hidden here. So whatever, we'll just do this. I'm going to click send. Let's get out of here for a second because I want to show you something a little cooler. So I'm going to refresh the page. I'm going to go here and I'm going to make a new chat in here. And I want to show you a couple of the other quite nice features.
So let's just real quick recenter this. So for those that aren't aware, basically this is taking what you would once do already on, you would install GSD and you would do this now through, I guess,
Claude Code, yeah,
Claude Code or whatever. Now it's here in a centralized GSD Cloud, and that's
here's the key thing. So GSD Cloud is a middleman. GSD Cloud is a middleman that can route between all of your computers. And so GSD Cloud isn't running any AI. Your machine is running the AI, but it's connecting to them and prompting them to do things properly. So what's nice is it means like I could have a bunch of computers just at home and I could go to the other side of the world and have none of my plans installed on my computer, and I could still interface with and use all of my computers at home, still using my max plans. So you're not paying anything extra for API tokens. It's still just using Claude Code under the hood, but it's putting it in a far nicer, might I say, interface than the horrific Claude Code desktop app these days. But anyways, one of the things that's really nice to show as well is it's like, okay, I want you to build a throwaway, no, don't even say throwaway, build an HTML website for the MCG Live team.
We still haven't done that, so this is appreciated.
Research them first, and then create the website and open it on, we'll do this, localhost 3000. Nice. So we'll just put that in there. It might take a little moment because obviously they have to go and do the research. We can talk about some other things in the meantime. So we're just going to let it do its work. And again, the lovely thing here is it's going to ask me a million questions because I've just put that in the settings. Let's see if we can get through one question before I have to delete that. Let's just go in here and change it right now. Okay, so anyways, which MCG Live? Let's just search for it. MCG Live. Oh, you don't have a website, of course.
Dude, we don't have a website. Like, that's what I'm saying.
I'm going to send them the website. Okay, we'll just do this then.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Use this. And then I'll maybe post in just this shit, whatever.
That is so funny.
Okay. What vibe do you want, guys?
Sophisticated.
Yeah, we'll go for sophisticated. Where was that one?
Geez,
yeah, let's do that. We'll just do sophisticated, dark mode, like, as AI for some reason just loves to tell you what, like Vercel and linear. We'll just do that. We'll say that. Okay, so also notice how lovely it is that I've got this ability to just go back and forth between the questions. And check this out as well. Okay, I've got 4 questions. Let's forget question 4. I'm going to click this and click submit all. Boom, it takes you right back. So if you have a long series of questions, it remembers. Also, here's a lovely thing. If for some reason I lose my computer or I lose my connection and then I have to go back or start on another computer, the questions are all still here and your answers are saved. So it means you could start all sorts of projects and you don't get that feeling of, and I built this for myself primarily, it's just this feeling of like cognitive overload where I have all of these terminal chats open and I don't know what's going on and all that kind of whatever, that nonsense. So I built this. So like this saves in your account. You can have so many projects in all sorts of different stages and it remembers exactly where they are. Anyway, so let's just go on. We'll pick this. How many pages?
And Lex, any way you could zoom this in a little bit?
How's that?
Perfect.
There we go. How should I serve it? We'll just do this. Okay, fine. Submit. It's going to now take that. Hopefully it's not going to ask us any more questions. I feel like I've been incredibly clear. And we'll just let that do its thing. You can see that it's working here. You may also notice that this design pattern might feel similar to, yes, I just stole the exact way that the Codex app was set up. I was like, it's fucking brilliant. So I was just like, okay, we're going to take the exact UI and UX of that, but we're going to put it on a website. One of the things, I got really into the Codex app, obviously by OpenAI, but there's no way to access it from afar. You know, I have to be on my computer with it. I can't just like do it on my phone. So anyway, it's now going to create this funny little website. We can also open up here the file browser and we can see we don't actually have any files in here yet because this is, of course, if we go back to here, just an empty folder. This is my Mac Mini, of course, and right now we see nothing here. At any point as well, I can also just open up the terminal and I can get access to it. Again, I can say, hi, MCG.
Hi, MCG.
Very nice, cool. So again, anything that you need to do from a terminal, and check this out, you could even open it up full screen. And if you, for some reason, want to, you could launch, oh, actually, fuck. Oh, no, I do have it set up. Yeah, so you could just use Claude Code from the terminal on your computer on the website. And so we could just do all of this exactly the same. I could now also go in here and let's just delete this and open another terminal. And then in this terminal, let's close this up. Oh. Okay, it seems to be frozen. Small bug to iron out. I guess I closed it and opened it again. Maybe if we refresh the page, I'll do that in a second. But anyways, super nice. You can see it's now writing this website for us. That should show up anytime soon. Let's actually open up. Oh, so it's written something. If I open up the file browser now, where did it write it? That's the question. Let's just refresh and we'll go back here and have a little look to see. Yeah, there we go. So here is the file that it's now created. I can open it here and I can see the full actual what it's written on that computer, which again, let's just go back here. Here it is on my Mac Mini. And if we were to
our first website.
So let's close this up. We'll go back here. We can see that it's now written that HTML file. Very nice. Now I'm going to open this view up. Let's actually just wait till it's served it, because this is one of the killer things, is that one of the things I found is that, sure, there were these hacks. There were these ways, of being able to kind of hit your Claude Code from afar on the phone, but there was no way to very easily just show the website, like show it running on a local server on your computer if I'm on the other side of the world and I just want to see it from here. So you'll see in a second, once it's actually finished doing that, it's going to bring that up on the local server. I saw somebody ask a question.
Yes, on that note,
yeah,
what advantages does GSD offer over using like Claude Dispatch or Claude Remote Control to do something like this?
You can use Claude or Codex or ZAI or fucking DeepSeek or whatever plan it is you want. It connects to Pi. So you're not bound to any one particular user. You could even get it to run like LM Studio or Olama on your computer, you know? So you don't even need to, like, you can connect via the cloud to all of your home computers and have it be running 24/7 on like local coding models. You can also switch so that some work that you do, you dispatch to Codex, some you dispatch to Claude. So let's just have a little look here. It's asking a question. Why is it still fucking asking that?
I mean, yeah, it seems like this helps with organization more than anything.
Oh my goodness, look at our website. Wow.
So interestingly, it's opened it already on there, but where I think it would be more fun is, my laptop gets so fucking hot these days. So let's just go
you
back.
also live, what is it, like 30 degrees Celsius where you're at? So that's also...
Yeah, I'm in the deep jungle, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a little look here to see if I can now launch the oh, there we go. Check this out.
Wow.
So, again, we are looking at this website on localhost on that computer. And I really wish that I could change what Wi-Fi account is connected so that I could show you that I could be streaming on my phone. But the thing is, for the screen sharing, I need to have them be on the same Wi-Fi. But check this out. Even nicer is I can now click this and I can get a live preview. This is a preview link. That means I can actually look at the website in real time. Here's Mint Josh. Here's Dinero Dom. You know, I can click it. It goes straight through to your account.
my gosh.
Meteora. Oh, great. We can go straight through to the Meteora ecosystem.
Shout out Meteora.
Let's click through to the link tree. You can see that it's gone ahead and created this really killer website for us. Very nice. Watch MCG Alpha. Boom. Here we are. So what's epic about this is this link. Let's pretend that, you know, God forbid somebody comes along and they manage to get that link. Well, it doesn't work. They can't open it. It's forbidden because of the way that it's hooked up, meaning that this is inherently linked to this browser session. So very nice. I can now do all this, you know, enjoy all of that good fun. I can close it up. Of course, I can go in here and I can see the files that are created. One more thing to do. Let's just say, change it to light mode. And we'll paste that in there because one of the things I want to show you is how damn satisfying it is to see this update in real time. So obviously it's just going to change that styles document. There's also, while we're here as well, open index so we can see them both. Again, it's very nice that everything is draggable and all of that good jazz. I really tried to keep the UI and the user experience of it just super zen, because I keep finding all of these other things that they're almost like border into the territory of having like a million things on the screen.
Did you use GSD to build GSD Cloud?
Yes. Well, I used GSD to build like certain chunks of it, not the entirety. So I built like the back end as one thing. It's a variety of things, obviously, because there's the cloud app, then there's the relay. The relay is its own computer that's just running on Fly.io 24/7, which is any user's messages get sent through the relay to the daemon. And so actually, if we go back here, we go to screen sharing and I open up the terminal again and we go in here, I can do GSD cloud logs and we can see in real time, here is like the actual things that are happening on my machine right now. So it says we've actually got a failed task, whatever. Also very nice as well, you can see GSD Cloud status, and you can see that we are connected to the relay. There are 2 active sessions. One is executing, one is idle. We can see that here as well. There is our idle and our whatever. It's still working on that light mode thing. So we'll come back to that in a second.
This is our most impressive live demo we've ever had on stream, by the way. Just so you know.
Epic. I'm so happy to hear that. But yeah, like in short, what I have right now is the core part of it. So like the ability to be able to do everything that I want to do on top of this. This is that. I had to start here. I had to have a way that I could have a front end that exposes access to everything that you have on your computer. All of these skills, these are all actually skills that exist on my computer. You know, and I could also go in here as well and I could say, okay, well, we've got that Mac Mini. Let's pair a new machine. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to open terminal on this computer now. And then let's log in. Now I can have 2 computers. I've got my, ready for it? Boom. We've got the MacBook Pro. I'll rename that MacBook Pro. I don't know if they capitalized the B. I'll say Mac Mini. Nice. So now whenever I start a new chat, I can say, okay, let's actually do this on the MacBook Pro. And we will do it on desktop. We're going to create a project here. And in this chat, I'm going to say, run terminal, say command to say hello to Dom and Josh. And again, this is now going to run on my laptop. So we should ideally hear the sound coming through in a second.
Hello, Dom and Josh.
So again, this is a website that is triggering my terminal to run this. Very nice. Let's go back and check on what's happening here because maybe, are we done? Did anything happen? It's hard to say. Maybe this was our
And can you use this for virtual computers as well, like VMs?
Yeah, you can do it. Check this out. So here's another good example. I'm going to go to, are you now seeing yourself? Great.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go here. This is hosting a virtual private server I've got, and I want to install it on this one as well. So I can do whatever good shit I want. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to, where are we? Let's go back to machines. Oh, are we on the right account? Yeah. Machines. Let's also pair now this little guy. So I'm going to go back. Where are we? So confusing. There we go. Terminal. Why does it do that? Okay. So let's just clear this. I'm now logged in on that terminal. Let's go back here. You can see it doesn't take long. I now have access to the Linux cloud machine. Boom, done. So now if I go back to the terminal, I can do, here are the folders and the files that I have on this virtual private server. I could do GSD cloud status. We can see connected. Very nice. It's been up for 17 seconds. Let's just do something for a quick test then. Let's make a folder. We'll call this test. Does it exist? Nice. Okay, so we'll go back to here now. I want to create a new project on this machine. I could also just briefly to verify, I could go to my Linux computer and I can see, where is it? Test. What is it under? User, would it be? User. There you go. I don't really know how Linux computers work, so let's just see if we can do it here then. Where even is that? Let's just, okay, we'll do this. Root. Okay, that's what it is. This is a very uninteresting thing to look at. So whatever, we're just going to do it this way then. I was going to try and show you how we could create you can create folders on your virtual computer from the terminal here. You could also get Claude to do it for you and just run it in that machine. But for now, let's just go in here and I'm going to add, we know this is our Linux machine. Let's go in here and see what we've got. Okay, so we've got a bunch of folders. Fair enough. Oh, here we go. So let's go. There we go. There's the test folder. I'm going to click create and I'm going to say, please create 4 wonderful Python files. There we go. We'll post that in there. Straight away, if we go back over to the cloud server here, we can do GSD cloud logs, and we can see everything is fucking running in real time. So let's stop.
Dude, this is like, all right. So just to, understand the use case here for a second, is you'd have different machines with maybe, let's say, different permissions or different types of files on it or different types of logins. And essentially you're delegating work through this cloud, GSD cloud, to those separate machines, whether they're virtual, physical, etc.
Yeah, exactly. And wait, let's get this out of the way again. I'm trying to get back to sensibility. Yeah, the thing is, it's just like I wanted to be able to use all of my providers. I wanted to be able to use Codex. I wanted to be able to use Claude. I wanted to be able to use whatever I'm into at the time, whatever provider I want to use. I would like to be able to do that. And I would like to be able to have easy access to all of my machines. So what I started to say as well is like the things that we're going to be shipping in the next week or so, because currently it's in a very small alpha. I'm going to be releasing the final beta for I think like 800 people who signed up for the wait list next week. But what I want to actually then, what we'll be bringing in next is the ability for the computers to talk to each other through GSD Cloud, meaning you'll be able to pull files off of one computer. So everything is unified. You can have a Raspberry Pi running, doing something somewhere, and it could be connected to your other computer all via then these amazing MCP servers. And because it's built on Pi, which is just like insanely extensible, I can provide any kind of experience I want for the user in the front end, any kind of unique thing. Another one as well is right now, the way that, of course, we were to start a GSD /command project is still just a /command. But I want to create a more guided visual experience that exists that could not be done unless we'd built the custom front end from scratch for it. So when you're initializing a new project, maybe the best way isn't to have just a chat stream. Maybe it should feel a little bit more intimate. Maybe it should feel a little bit more kind of like a lab where you can sketch notes. And once that's done, everything still happens behind the scenes through Pi and Claude or Codex or whatever to then create the initialization documents for then the next stage. Maybe when you're doing like UAT, kind of like user accepted testing of these features, it would be better if it wasn't just a chat interface, but you had like a little browser embedded in there so the agent can see and go back and forth. There are so many things that are possible now that I own the front end. And just to sum it up, what is GSD Cloud? It's like the ultimate remote for all of your AIs to not just write better software, but do whatever the fuck you want, wherever you want, whenever you want, for like $20 a month. So
it's the control center.
Yes, the ultimate control center for all of your agents. And it's not optimizing for what I would class as like a pretty low IQ agent speak on X, where it's like people just throw this word agent around willy-nilly to describe that they just chucked a fucking AI API and API endpoint on the back end for whatever. This is like, okay, well, how do we intelligently let ourselves go and live our lives? Like, if I want to go for lunch, if I want to go do all of that, it would be damn nice to be able to do it, from wherever, whenever.
Yeah. Thank you for that summary. I think that's great. Really cool stuff. How are you seeing, how has growth been and stuff? I haven't looked at the star history on GitHub. I know you guys were going crazy for a long time. GSD2 was smash hit. How has growth been just in general?
And maybe in an extension of this, like, how do you convert this growth into signups for the terminal as well?
Well, of course, we could always add direct links just into when people install the open source version. It's very like I own the billboard of the installer. So there's a way to be able to just get people to know about it from installing it. They're like, same way that people find the Discord. When you install it, it says, join the Discord, and it shows that in your terminal. Why not? I'll fucking click it. But of course, the key thing here is that how does it in any way affect the token? Oh, the big looming question. And of course, we've been over this multiple times on this channel. It's been a topic of exhaustive.
Hey, iteration through live stream.
Yeah. And the answer is, well, I already built the buyback and burn mechanism that doesn't necessarily just need to burn. It could just shift things through to the treasury. Whatever it is, I can specifically say whether somebody pays with US dollars or they pay with yen. I have the system enabled to automatically use a percentage of what they've spent without them even having to know about crypto. They can be total normies. It could be your grandmother who's finally getting into wanting to use all these AI coding tools. We can take a portion and instantly convert that into GSD. Ooh, alarm's going off. Instantly convert it into GSD to either burn or do things with. So, of course, the nice thing about this is this means that the more and more adoption we get from people who may not even have any interest in the actual token, automatically can help reduce or make it a deflationary kind of token through that buyback, or at the same time, just buy back more and keep locking it or use it as well for hackathons. It just means that I can easily apportion amounts. Apportion is not a word, but it sounds fitting. Easily just shift that use for the token without anybody having to know about it or have to be like, yo, this is a crypto company, guys. Because that puts a lot of people off.
And there's value in kind of being able to allocate, either a buyback or put into a treasury at some point. Like for right now, like you might say, look, I want to buy back this token, but maybe I don't want to burn it. I want it in a treasury because it's low today, but as it grows in value, I can use that for hackathons at a higher valuation versus like at a higher valuation. Maybe you're like, we're just going to burn it to keep the flywheel going. Dude, this has a high degree, in my opinion, has a high degree chance of success. And I think what I want to ask is you're going to do this 800 person beta phase.
I'm not going to open the beta to 800 people. I'm going to do a little survey.
So a little survey, people are going to start using it. People ideally are outside of crypto, or are these kind of like GSD holders?
Well, there are plenty of GSD holders who weren't in the sort of AI space who have since got into these AI coding tools. So there's a nice like an overlap, should we say? But holders, which again, I don't want to give a specific number. I played around with a number recently, but it might need to be lower. Like a holding of tokens could be lower, or find some kind of way to be able to make it slide depending on the market price. But GSD holders of a certain token amount will have lifetime access so long as they hold. So they will pay, and there will be new features rolled out first to, should we call them priority accounts? And there's, of course, all sorts of other things that become possible when, because of the fact that I can gate features behind holding a certain amount because it can be proved on chain. There's a lot of cool things that we can do to prioritize, or should we say incentivize people being holders rather than just a user.
Right. And so, so you get this kind of rolled out. I guess where I'm going with this is what does the roadmap look like from going from, really cool product, we're testing in beta to all right, we're starting to see kind of those initial Stripe transactions, people signing up, and then, here's the on-chain, that's the first burn. And we're high-fiving and we got Lex popping champagne and stuff like that.
Sorry, was that a question?
That is a question. I'm just wondering, is this months that we're taking, or do you think we might see this in weeks, months, days, hours?
it's always better to under promise, over deliver. I'm going to say
under promise, over.
I'm going to say probably a couple of months before we're at a point where I think this is a really, should we say, like actually bringing in paid users consistently in a notable amount. Because also there are certain things that I think before put it this way, some of the features which I've discussed already and some of the things which will be shipping in the next week or two, they will substantially raise the perceived value beyond even what I've shown you here.
Wow.
Wait, say that again?
Some of the things that I'm not going to talk about yet, but I'm going to start teasing and rolling out over the next couple of weeks are features that I think will substantially raise the perceived value, or should we say substantially incentivize people to want to pay money for this as a no-brainer, where you're just like, God damn, why not? Why would I not want to sign up for this?
Substantially incentivize people to pay for it. Well, that
Lex,
sounds
you really like there's like companies, and we've talked around computer use agents, and this kind of concept of having agents on different machines, them communicating together and working on files and then handing you the final output. And those projects, I mean, some of them are raising at 20, 30, $100 million. There's a company in San Francisco that raised $100 million, and all they were doing was creating sandboxes for different agents.
Wow.
That's literally all they did for enterprise. So, look, I don't know where this goes for you. I think there's so many, there's a lot of upside into what you're doing. I'm sure you know that people are seeing this in real time. Hopefully this stream, people see this and they're like, holy shit, I got to either buy GSD or get in contact with Lex to whoever. But just wanted to say, this is crazy.
Dude, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a nightmare. It's been pulling my fucking hair out on the edge of what the fuck am I doing? I just need to get on Twitter and tell everybody that I quit all technology and I'm just going to go live in a hole. It's been soul, I have to say, but we're getting
up and down. Look, I get the roller coaster. We're hopefully going up, and we're going to crescendo and then keep going up. But maybe talk a bit about the down part. I know this is maybe a bit of self-reflection, but you've gotten through that. I'm assuming you have a light at the end of the tunnel through this product. Is that what you mean? Is just kind of not knowing where I should take this kind of thing? Does that feel like the down part?
It's less that, and it's more. I saw a funny meme a few weeks ago that I think kind of sums it up to some extent, which is it said I used to work 8 hours a day. Now with AI, or now thanks to AI, I can work 18 hours a day, and it's definitely not been good for my mental health for this GSD token to appear at the same time as me having access to this tool that I could sit at almost 24 hours a day and just keep adding more features. So there's that. There's it has been difficult to step away from working when I know that there are things that need to be done and there's a tool that can help me do it. So there's that. There's just I've been honestly staying up too late, working too long. That's not been good. I haven't been exercising as much as I should. I haven't been, I haven't been as good of a boy as I probably would have liked to have been. Anyways, apart from that,
it's all right. Your wife's gone for a month, to India. So you cook during this month.
Yeah, dude. That's been it. That's been it. But there's also that, and there's also the fact that at the end of the day, I'm one person building this, and it takes a lot of effort to build software that is performant and secure and that is actually something that you would want to ship, let alone somebody to pay for.
Yeah.
And I'm also a bit of a perfectionist, and so there's been this real kind of there's this real feeling of no, that's not that's not the behavior that I want, or that's not the kind of the flow. So particularly it's not just a website. It's a website that talks to a live relay, that talks to a daemon on your machine. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in the building of that. And I'm just happy that I managed to get through it. And one final little amazing little point here is that about 2 days ago, I was like, okay, it's officially time to now share this in a way. And so I would launch up the app, and I had so many things that obviously, I don't have them feature flagged because I have everything that I'm working on. And so I have all sorts of features that aren't quite there where I want to be yet, all sorts of different debug windows and things. And all of a sudden I was like, I can't share this with people. This is like way too complicated. So I literally sat down and I just deleted 90% of the code. I was like, gone.
Good for you.
If I need that back again, I know what it is that I have a note of all of the things that I added, but I deleted the code. And if I don't miss it, it doesn't need to be there yet. So I stripped it back to just the core essence of what it is. Can I control my different AIs on my different machines from any web server or web app? Yes, I can. Cool. Now everything else builds on top of that.
Lex, this is classic founder stuff. There's a time, and I know, MCG is not as sophisticated as this, but I was banging my head against the wall of like, how do I keep this business going and make a business out of this, something that, can work. And it's tough, man. It's really, really difficult. I'm sure people listening, a lot of them are founders themselves. And, but I want you mentioned someone who's working with you, who's working on GSD2 and is working really hard on it, probably for free because it's open source. Do you have support around you? Like, are you finding people are kind of coming around this to like make this something sustainable? Because obviously having those feelings is not sustainable, but we want you to be an area where you're able to focus on what you love doing. It's enjoyable and you're able to grow a great business. And ideally the token holders see that upside as well.
Yeah. There are a core group of people, I would say 4 or 5, who I really trust and I haven't met them. That's the beautiful thing about open source. But I've known about their username for the last couple of months or so. People who I trust who've done amazing work on those projects, and some of those people, particularly Jeremy, Flux Labs, are people who I'm going to be getting involved in this because it's not going to be feasible to just run this as a business on my own, while also in the process of trying to have a baby. And then God forbid there is a little human running around. There needs to be more people. But yeah, I'm very excited about the people who I have around me. I see there's a question here from B-Man. How's mobile support, notification support? Yeah, full push browser push notifications. So if you're off the screen, you get a little ping. Mobile support, it does work on mobile right now. I usually just make it so I have it set. If I do this, I have it set so it's just the Safari app, like you can make an app become, you can just run it on your phone, whatever, all good. But I want to actually build a proper iPhone app for it as well, because I love iPhone. I'm not going to build personally something for Android, but I want to put a lot of time and effort into creating like the #1 iPhone app for being able to just manage all of your different computers and all of your different AI projects. So yes, B-Man.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, currently it works, but it could be better if it was a native app rather than just adding it to home screen.
Lovely. Well, that was a great update, Lex. Excited to see how this thing develops. Like I said, I think, or like Josh said, I think he's nailed it, right? You have this massive growth. People clearly love the product. You've thought about ways to advertise, but it's now how can we convert these people to paying customers? And building out this product, super cool. There are a lot of people that are doing a lot of deep AI stuff, and there's a lot of people who are doing simple AI stuff, but they could use some sort of central hub to connect the AI doing this over here and the AI doing this over here, and put it all into one place. So you're doing the right stuff.
Good luck with your hackathon submission. We'll get this clipped up. And
one small thing, like you just saying that, there's one small thing that I would like to kind of just tease and share a little bit.
Yes.
You just mentioned like automating things. One of the features I'm most excited about that I haven't really seen done too much is, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Make and Zapier, those kind of tools.
Yes, like email automation.
Or like if this, then that. It's like something happens and then something else happens and branching and logic. Obviously, you can use ChatGPT and you can use them in it, but they're not specifically built as agent workflows, agent pipelines. So the feature I'm most excited about is an AI that exists on there. So you have a different type of chat interface where you don't talk about what you want to build. You talk about building the workflow that will build the build. And so this particular system prompt version of the agent, it still uses Claude or Codex or whatever it is on your machine, but it positions it so that it is an expert in creating these complex, branching, looping, what are ultimately just JSON files, but these beautiful node-based workflows. So each one of these little rectangles on the screen that connects is a chat. You can click on it, you can see the tool calls, you can even stop it, and you can steer the AI and tell it to do something else. But you can effectively create these very long-winded processes that run for like 24 hours because you have one input put its output into the next, which can then branch. It can then separate it into N sub branches. So it's a really exciting kind of lab, should we call it? And it's a sort of a node-based lab where at any given point you can ask the main author agent, what went wrong? And he can go and look at the logs of everything that happened and improve it. So super excited about that for these kind of automation things as well.
Crypto Jones is the final question here. If you win the hackathon from Bags, what are you doing with the winnings? Do you have plans to onboard someone else? So, what are you thinking?
I don't really know at the moment. I know that I want to put a decent amount towards advertising. Like I've had pretty good success with advertising projects of all sorts of things, music using Facebook ads, and I have some pretty good kind of like automation pipelines behind the scenes for that. I haven't advertised really anything yet. So it'd be nice to put some of that towards actually advertising this to people who don't know about it. And also then just generate some kind of like really good data on that end. But I don't know, not spend it, that's for sure. Like the plan is to have a kid, and the plan is to just kind of just amass a fortune and build great software that makes the world a better place.
It's a good plan. That's a great plan. Well, let's go amass a fortune and then make the world a better place. Lex, one step at a time. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys so much. It's the best as always. I wish you guys a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you
Lex.
as well.
We'll get this clipped up for you and get the info out there. Good job.
Legend.
Much
love, guys. Ciao. Bye.
Yeah.
Let's go. We got a hard stop here shortly.
I know, bro, but I want GSD to be successful. Lex is the kind of person that like you just want to back them. You want them to be successful. And man, it's a good product. I mean, Orgo's kind of been working on something similar to this in this area. This seems like a little more of more of a, instead of the machines kind of be run by an organization, they're kind of like your machines, but it's kind of a similar Orgo setup. I don't know. It's very, very interesting. I agree. Rooting for you. I know Crypto Jones, you have some GSD. Man, I've been a GSD holder on and off through certain periods. I love what he's building. It's just, man, the Solana holders, like, even looking at the chart, someone like nuked it like crazy for what? Like what are we're
nature of the game, nature of the beast.
Nature of the beast. But I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's got to be as soon as they can convert users. I mean, this reprice is like crazy.
Crazy, almost 80% tip on GSD. Okay, we'll have to check it out. Let's look at charts. We got 5 minutes, boys. Literally 5 minutes. All right, Fold, we had them on earlier. Charts looking really good. Of course, this is the peptide conversation. So things about this interview, I guess I would take away, it still seems to me like the token value is undetermined or to be determined. But I get the business model. It's, okay, do this. We're a peptide research lab, pretty much. We're utilizing AI, doing peptide research, finding out what could possibly work. And, so you get 100 samples. Out of those 100, say 5 look good. You send all 5 to the wet labs. 1 comes back as applicable. Okay, now you have this, and you can go and sell this recipe, this solution to, private equity or big pharma, whoever the heck is going to sell it. I think that's the angle here. Also, maybe charging to actually use the Clarity Protocol platform to get all your research from the daily Fold. So, we have Fold here doing good at about 800,000 fully diluted value. Chart's been slow growing, looking really nice. Kled's coming out, daily updates. They've been really, really doing well with those. So this is kind of hanging around these levels. They do have at 3 here a call, Maya and Avi. You guys should tune in and go from this to the call with Maya and Avi. I think maybe, it'll be interesting to see the dynamic there. Obviously, Street and Kled have a relationship, so they're going to make it sound as good as possible. But I feel like, Avi might say some stuff to kind of give people, some excitement here about Kled. So that's what I'm hoping for. I don't think I'll be able to tune in, but I'll definitely watch it back. Outside of that, Meteora kind of chilling. Let's look at Pumpcade. Pumpcade, yeah, it's on a bit of a drawdown. Remember, we're watching this for the ace round, just watching how this plays out. Nothing new there. Blocks as well implemented the ace round. That is starting to rebound a little bit. Remember, we found out that this technically valuation is around 1.4 million at the 3.33% or the 1.5x transfer rate. So not going to get into that. While we're on stream, Either has been absolutely ripping. We've talked about Either way. We got them coming on at the end of the week. I mean, this went from about
Crazy.
7.5 million to 32 million in the last 5-6 days. So Either way is absolutely ripping. Again, gonna get the scoop from them. We'll take
Crypto
a look at
Jones. Are you're an Either holder? I think. I mean, at least you called it. Yeah.
Dupe pretty much doing nothing here. Again, little excitement there around the token. Not really sure what their plan is. ICM.run. Orgo. We'll do Orgo real quick. Orgo's taken quite a dip since the other day. So we'll have Spencer on to give us the full scoop. If there's going to be some equity principle tied into this, we might be in value territory here. So keep that in mind, just monitoring the situation. ICM.run. We had a Mercy on not long ago that caught a little bit off of that. Just chilling. Not much to add there. PMX. This is when we saw Krish come out and basically say, hey, guys, we're back. 4 months we've been working on this prediction market. Could have a lot of potential. Could be one final exit scam. We saw the chart. We know this went up to 60 million at one point. I don't think this is a terrible bid. I don't know if I would bid it here, right? It's already pumped from 650K to $1 million, so it's up 100%. But I would say, there'd be some interest in this. If they do practically time the token and make a really good platform like he originally promised, maybe this goes higher. I would say just monitor it. Outside of that, we'll look at GSD real quick. It's dumped a bit since this call. Holy cow. Literally on this call, someone full stacked out of it. They must not have liked looking at
someone full stacked. I looked at the transaction. They had bought it at the about half the current market cap, so about like 300K. And they bought it. If you sort by USD amount, you'll cut out 90% of what that just, it's a 7K transaction. They had bought it back near in January when this first went live. So look, I think part of this is just, you kind of distribute out the holder base a little bit. And I tend to think this is fairly deep value for this. I mean, this is, there's something here for sure. And the second that you get that kind of conversion to on-chain buyback, like you'll reprice this so fast. It's crazy. In my opinion, that's, not financial advice.
Yeah. I think this is actually a slower burn than maybe Josh is leading on to be.
I mean, look, but slower burn, like, 2 months, you got to wait, you got to be able to wait 2 months, but the market's going to front run potentially some stuff also is what happens. Look, I don't know if it's a good investment. I think at 600K, like I see so much out there that's just pure LARPs that is way higher.
Nature of the beast, man. Nature of the beast. Got to play the game, play the market you're in. Nonetheless, let's look at schedule, boys. We don't have time to stay and yap too much more. So gonna check out the schedule. You guys have we have a great week. Hopefully you guys are having a good week so far. I think these 2 days have been more lower cap on-chain trenches focused. Wednesday, I think through Friday, we're gonna have some more. So tomorrow at 11:45, we have Crafts. Again, they're pioneering like this safe equity structure here. So it'll be a very interesting conversation. They are curating. I'm on that spiel yesterday about how you have to curate deployers to get the traders. And that's when you get a sticky platform that can overtake Pump Fun. We'll see if Craft Dev is cut out for that. AOL just had in their update, going to kind of see what they can do. And again, this is going to be a very launchpad centric conversation. We're going to bring that up, the chicken and egg conversation, where it's like, look, to have a successful platform, you need traders. But to have traders, you need deployers. How do you get meaningful deployers? And beat out some of the others. So that'll be an interesting conversation. Wednesday, earlier day, 11:45 is our start time. And then we have Derived, DRV, one that's been very, very interesting. This is actually on base. So you got 2 Solana, 1 base. Thursday, Either way is coming on. You saw the charts going absolutely crazy. Blocks is coming on, giving us an update on Blocks, what's going on there. 20 minutes. These are quick sessions, which I like. I like that little 20-minute speed round feel. Hermes OS is blowing up. We know Hermes is blowing up in terms of GitHub, so just kind of getting the scoop on that. Litecoin, Orgo coming on. Spencer giving us the update. The token is dumped quite a bit. This could be an opportunity. I don't hold Orgo, but just monitoring the situation. And then Friday we got Peak and OPG, right? The OPG just launched. They're doing really well, and we know Peak is legendary. So definitely follow us, guys. Good week ahead. We'll be in contact. Love y'all. Not gonna lie, the market's not been kind to me lately. Telling you guys, don't trade, bro. Don't trade.
Don't trade.
Don't trade. Unless you're delimbing and just playing volume, like, don't trade. I haven't been trading. I've taken a few trades. I'm not going to disclose what those are, but I've been just fine. I think I've been flat or up for the last 6 months to a year, to be honest. So there's just saying it's plus EV not to trade. You're not expecting to make money if you're trading in and out. And Christopher Jones, this is not directed at you, but I'm just saying in general, guys, like even the great products just not going to underperform. You have to have real serious advantage. So all right, y'all boys, stay blessed, stay safe, keep tuning in.
To your credit, Dom, you've been saying that for a while too, for a few months. So
thank you, buddy. Lucas right now is live, street reposted. Go check out what they got to say with Avi boys. We'll see you guys. Peace.
See ya.